301 episodes of pure crap.
Grant, Grant, yes, we're live, but we didn't start yet. Grant, I want you to know that was the very first thing that was said on the live stream. Perfect way to start.
Oh, do we have a name for our new friend here? Or?
Oh, I got a name. Don't worry. I got a name. Don't you worry.
How's that?
That's great, Mom Brain. You did it.
You feel good?
I feel great. All right, let's. Every week, I've been doing this for so long, and every week I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. All right, this and this, we're good to go. Oh, that's it. No matter how many times I say I won't forget. I masturbate a lot. All right. That's good. That's good. Okay, we're starting. 3, 2, 1. Nintendo podcast, Webisode 801, the Magirna podcast.
Delicious.
The GoNintendo podcast is a part of the Greenlit podcast network at greenlitpodcast.com.
That's beautiful.
Mom Brain, can you tell us about Magirna, please?
Sure.
This was one of the few Pokemon I saw a picture of, and I was like, I know that Pokemon. Not like in real life, but I'm familiar.
Right. Yeah, right.
Are you doubting that I
way.
don't know it, or are you doubting that I don't know it in real life?
I'm doubting that you know it.
Wow.
I'm not doubting that you don't know it.
You know, I do run a Nintendo site.
And
They call me Mr. Nintendo.
Okay. Well, we're done with
and
this.
You will call me Mr. Nintendo.
Raw meat Nintendo.
That's it. Thank you. Mom Brain, please, the Pokemon. People are waiting.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Macarena. Pokemon 801. It synchronizes its consciousness with others to understand their feelings, much unlike Rami Cowboy. This faculty makes it useful for taking care of people.
Faculty, like teachers.
I won't even give that a dad groan. They're 3 feet tall. They're 177 pounds. Their gender is unknown. Their category is artificial. And their abilities are soul, heart.
Thanks, Mom Brain. I appreciate it.
Do you?
I do. Yes. What do we got here? We got. Well, let me do this real quick. There's something I want to say. Hello, Wolfric Chaser and Nico Darunia and Giant Reggie and Anastasia Beaverhouse and Hiley and Tom and Nader Die and Dre Gamer and Giant Reggie and Koopa Kid, who I want to give a special shout out to because Koopa Kid says I've been listening to this podcast since the low 400s and this is my first live show. So cool seeing everyone's names. Thanks for joining us live. If you thought it was crappy just listening to the recording, get ready for this crap show. Wow.
What a hole.
Also, of course, hello to Kirby. Kirby, how are you today? Good to know.
Did we lose everyone?
No, I'm looking at his face. I see one giant eyeball blinking for Kirby. Do you see?
He's having trouble with his contacts.
You know what happened? I meant to turn mute off, and instead I turned the camera back on.
Oh, well, I'll stare at that eyeball all day long.
Is it a brown eyeball?
Give me that brown eyeball.
Blink once for you're doing okay, and blink twice for you're not doing great.
Yeah, right. I'll relay the answers, yes. Hello, Leala Wolf. Hello, Do Michaels. How are you?
Blink. Blink.
Blink. You're telling us you're in trouble. Hello. You guys were asking last week where he was and how he's doing. So he's here today. Hello, Vitamin G. How are you?
Oh, I'm quite blink today. Quite blink.
That's what I like to hear. And also, we have a first timer because it's episode 801. Are they going to be back? I don't know. It all rides on today's show. He doesn't know his name yet, but he's going to find it out right now. It's Grimbles. Hello, Grimbles. How are you?
I'm great. I'm just really honored to be here right now.
We are honored to have you. Grimbles was introduced to us from or by Vitamin G. And we've all become Fortnite buddies.
And everyone's
together.
regretted it ever since.
Oh,
I mean, like him included.
No,
he regretted being introduced.
No, I don't think you meant that.
I did.
Well, this is off to a bad start.
Oh,
well, thank you for being here, Grimbles. All right. We got a whole. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. Oh, hello, Mom Brain.
Oh, hi.
It was a joke, Mom Brain. Also, of course, we can never forget. Hello, Josh Grobot. How are you doing this week, my friend? I hope everything's well in your wonderful robot world.
I'm the star of the show.
No. Yeah. Josh, for those who don't know, well, actually, let me say this. It is the roughly 1 year anniversary of us joining the Greenlit podcast network, and we are sticking around for year 2. So thank you to all the gang at Greenlit for having us on for another year. And obviously the first year didn't go so well because of the pandemic, and we didn't get to do the things we were planning to do. But now we're getting more towards that stuff, and things are being worked out, and there's going to be some interesting things later this year. But yes, we are in, I think we're in year 2, either this week or...
yeah.
What was that, Josh?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. It's either year 2 next week or this week. I don't remember, but we're sticking with them. So thanks to Greenlit, and we're honored to be with everybody on Greenlit. We did a new plug for the podcast with Greenlit. So if you listen to if you go to greenlitpodcast.com, you'll see all the other shows that are in a network with us. And if you listen to some of them, you might hear our plug for our podcast. And there's a brand new plug. So if you've been listening to those other shows and you've heard the plugs, there's a new one. And this time around, Josh Grobot is in the plug because that's
I'm here to grace you with my presence.
because that's what everybody wants. So Josh, thanks for working with me on that. I know you have a very busy schedule, but it was my honor.
Hell yeah.
All right, it's 1 year anniversary. We did that. Oh, I also want to say thanks to everybody for the episode 800 well wishes and emails and social media stuff and personal emails and all that good stuff, because a whole bunch more came in after the episode as well. And we had a great show. Yes, someone? Yes.
Sorry, man, you're good. I don't know how you even can hear that, but yeah, I just wanted to say that was a special show. I was glad to be a part of that one. Man, it worked out way better than I ever thought, and to know we have so many lovers of the show in the Philippines and everywhere else.
That makes 2 of us. I was very nervous about the 800th episode. I'm never really nervous about the podcast, but 800, I was like, oh, it's a big number. I want to do something special. But yeah, we had lots of great stuff to read through from listeners, and the planned thing with my parents went really well. So I was really happy with that episode, and you guys really liked it too. I forget where I read it, but somebody said they usually listen to the podcasts when they're falling asleep, and they said not because it's boring, but because it soothes them. But they couldn't do that with last week's episode because they were laughing too much. I would imagine that's from the Family Feud section with my parents. But yeah, it turned out well. I'm really happy with that episode. So it's all.
Yeah, I would say the Family Feud segment was like way too like exhilarating. Like I wouldn't be able to sleep while listening to that part.
I was feeling that same exhilaration during the segment. Yeah, I'm surprised that they won. I didn't think they were going to make it to Fast Money, and I thought if they did, they would lose Fast Money.
I mean, I think we can all say thank you to GoNintendo and myself.
Oh, yes, the anchors. Well, to tell you the truth, I got to be honest, and my mom might be listening, but I'm an honest boy. My dad did way better than I thought, and my mom, she slacked a little bit, I feel like.
Here's what I think happened. Your father
performance anxiety.
He's hard to embarrass. Your mother, you have made your life's mission to embarrass. And yet she continues to be easily embarrassed. So I'm guessing she was nervous.
My dad's only hard to embarrass because he has no idea what's going on. So he just he just goes with whatever flow he's got, and nothing else matters. So we tried bringing up the jelly donut situation, and he
didn't bite.
Really didn't care about it. So, but yeah, that went really well. Maybe we should. Thank you, Aloe Wolf. I will be me. Maybe we'll make that, I don't want to say a regular segment. We don't want to have a Family Feud segment every podcast, but maybe we'll do it again. It'll be a fun thing to do maybe every couple months, having new people to play Family Feud.
If you all behave yourselves, we'll do it again.
That's right. All right. Moving on. We are working on, I told you there's new stuff going on. As you've heard already, Josh has learned some new phrases. He's working hard on that. So you'll see what else he's got to say maybe at some point if he feels like talking.
I'm a party animal.
But also, we are working on something new for the podcast. Thanks to Nico Darunia, because I put out the call over on Patreon and he reached out almost instantly. We're going to start doing a new podcast channel for podcast
For foot stuff.
For foot stuff, yeah.
Yep.
Foot stuff is really big on the internet. We
Yep.
want to corner that foot market, so that's what we're going to do. Just a dedicated feet cam. It'll be a window.
But here's the
window.
twist. It's only cat feet.
I don't think that. I mean,
I
people on
would-
the internet love cats, but I don't
Yeah.
think that's the kind of stuff they're going for. Nico Darunia is going to help us with timestamps for the podcast, so we're going to have every episode timestamped. But yes, we're going to have a new podcast highlights channel because that's all the rage nowadays, and it seems like a good thing to do. So we're going to keep the regular podcast everywhere it is, wherever you listen to it. It's going to stay there, but we're also going to do a highlights channel for particular segments. So maybe something that's big in the news or something that we did that was funny or whatever. So each week we'll do a few highlights from each episode. So that way you don't need to listen to, all 2.5+ hours or whatever it turns out to be. You could just watch some highlights if you want, or maybe you haven't listened to the show and you'll see the highlights and then you'll want to check us out. So we're working on that. I think we're going to, at the very least, have timestamps for the episodes starting this week, but we'll take things from there and see what happens. All right, we have to. Oh, Malakalo, that's lovely. We have to talk about this because it is by far the biggest thing going on in the world of video games in the past week. Deux Michaels will certainly be able to share his input as well on this, but yeah, anybody chime in before we get into the news. Yes,
Yeah,
Deux?
I can't wait to hear how bad this game sucks.
This party sucks. As you know, Cyberpunk 2077 from CD Projekt Red has released. It's been out. It's great, Slicer. It's been out for a little while now, and the reception has not been good. And the reaction from people has not been good, but the reaction from platform holders and the developer has been not good as well. Whoa! It's been a giant mess. Ooh, Alawolf says cyberpunked. It is, for those who don't know, which I'm sure is no one, I'll do a quick recap. The game came out. If you don't know about the game or if you haven't followed the game, it's been delayed multiple times, but they finally released it.
The game is not fun.
I wonder if Reggie's playing it. So anyway, the game came out. It is very, very buggy, extremely buggy. Crashes, bugs that ruin progress, bugs that pop up just during regular gameplay. Things don't work. This is far beyond a game that has some glitches and, whatever.
Also, the game's been in development for like 8 years now, right?
Yeah, and 8 years is an understatement. Like, we learned about it 8 years ago, but they obviously started work on it before that. So it's 8+. Yeah, and it clearly wasn't ready. I would say I have been playing the game. I would say from what I've played, the game is very clearly in an unfinished state. I don't think broken is fair because it is broken, but I think the brokenness comes from it being unfinished. It feels like a game that's not complete yet. I've played many games in early access that felt way more finished than this game does. So obviously people got it. And there's bugs and issues across all versions of the game, but those on PC seem to be having the best time with it. But they're not without their issues. But when it comes to base Xbox One and PS4 players, it's been a nightmare of a time for those people. And even those playing on PS5 and Xbox Series X, because there is no PS5 or Xbox Series X version yet, and there's no update specifically for those platforms yet. That's coming in the new year. It's just the extra hardware of those platforms will improve the improved hardware will improve the frame rate, but it's having issues everywhere. And people automatically were like, this is not right. This is broken. I want my money back. And it wasn't just like a couple people. It was a lot. And in an unprecedented move, I don't think I have ever seen this before. I have tried to think of a situation where this has happened, and I read into it, and I can't find anything. Sony is giving full refunds for the game digital, and they remove the game from their shop. You can no longer buy the game digitally there.
That's like damage control.
That is crazy.
Epic.
Microsoft is also giving full refunds for the game, no questions asked. It is still available to purchase on their digital shop, but now when you go to their page on the shop, it has a huge warning letting you know that there are major issues with the game. Best Buy is doing full returns of the game, even if the package is opened. Obviously, it has to be open, but usually they don't do that. So you can go to Best Buy and return your copy. There's something about the digital ones as well. I think it doesn't even matter how much time you have played the game. You will just get a refund because at this point they know people just want their money back because they're having such a bad experience with it. You have been playing it, and you and I have been talking a bit about the bugs we've experienced. Do you want to call out some of the more bigger issues you've experienced?
Sure. Actually, something happened to me yesterday that was so funny. It was like the greatest hits of bugs all at once. Because as I was playing, I've been playing the game probably 40 hours or something like that by now. And there's a few things that have been happening throughout that experience. But last night, they all happened during this one mission. And it took me so long to complete this mission that it took all the emotion and the poignancy out of what I was trying to do in the storyline. But anyways, so basically, here's the rundown of how this worked. It was a race where driving, and I've got a passenger, and it's the future. So, street races in the future, you're allowed to, have your passenger shoot at people. Like I guess that's the thing. So anyway, so I pull up to the race, and I just bought this ridiculous car. It cost me over $100,000 in the game.
I'm sorry, Deux. It cost you over 100 what?
Sorry, 100 eddies.
There we go.
I don't mind that. I think
100 Cyberbucks.
Euro dollars is what they're called, so they call them eddies.
100 Cyberbucks, says Kirby.
Yeah, but Raw Meat's gonna find all kinds of ways to crap on the lore of the game, and I don't think that's the biggest issue. I think these other problems are the big issue. But,
oh no, I agree with you. Yeah, the broken mechanics are the biggest issue by far. The other stuff is just being silly.
Yeah. So anyway, so I pull up in this car that costs 120,000 eddies, and I'm like, well, I'm definitely using my car, not my passenger's car. And so basically, the object of this particular race was the passenger that I was working with wanted to get revenge on this other driver. So she told me to stay close so that she could shoot at him. Now I'm staying close, but of course I bought this car that for some reason the windows don't roll down. So she can't pop out of the car and shoot this guy. And the mission never told me anything. So I get to the end of that mission, and she was mad because we didn't get to kill the guy. So I had to reload the game. So I reloaded the game, and I played it through the race a second time with her car, got all the way to the end of the mission, and then the app quit on me. It has, and it usually does this when I'm driving, and it's happened over 20 times. I stopped counting after 5, and I swear it's been a ridiculous problem. So it quits, and it says, Cyberpunk had to close. Do you want to send a report? So I always send the reports. And then I go back in, I load the game up again, and it loads up, and all my settings are back to default. So I have to go through, switch my inverse controls, switch the volume because I don't like the music necessarily in certain parts of the game, and switch a lot of the graphical things I had to switch. And I have to do that maybe once out of every 4 times I load the game. But this just happened to happen. So I loaded up on the 3rd time, have to redo all that, drive all the way to the end, and then all that stuff happens. And because of how it went down, it was it took the wind out of the sails for like the big dramatic part at the end of the mission.
Yeah.
And it was, and I was like, you know what? I want to do it. Like, it was clear that I could go back and do it a different way. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this race for a fourth time. Like, I don't care about it anymore. At this point, it's like, let's move on. Get me out of this.
Yeah.
So it was just funny that like one thing after another kept happening. And it was like like I said, it was like the greatest hits of my glitches in the game all at once.
Like I had said to you, I've had my fair share of glitches too. I only had it crash to menu once on me, but I haven't played a ton. But I experienced a whole bunch of other issues, including one that I think is horrendous. The game is supposedly all about conversations you have with people and how you respond, and those impact what happens and where you go and what you do. And I've had it happen multiple times where I go to a dialogue situation and the D-pad doesn't work and you can't select a dialogue option. And sometimes the conversations are timed. So you have a timer counting down to give an important answer and I can't do anything. It just picks the one where the like indicator already is, and that's that. Like I had some lady yelling at me and this guy's got a gun to my head and they're asking me what I'm going to do, and I can't say anything because I can't pick a dialogue option. So what is that saying over there on the laptop?
Plug in.
Plug in?
It looks like that's what it says.
Can you check that out for me? So it's been an absolute...
Start to install the newest Windows feature update.
Oh.
Hi, guys. We're really up close.
Can I dismiss it?
It's pick a time, restart tonight, or restart now. No.
This one? This one?
Well, I'm sure lots of screenshots are being taken
There
right
you
now.
go. All right. Sorry about that.
Are you running the podcast through Cyberpunk right now?
Yes,
Kevin?
yes, I am. For some reason, I thought it was a good idea, but clearly I was wrong. So yeah, I can't pick options, and then I get forced into storylines that I don't want to do because I'll restart and the same thing happens again. So that alone is a major issue. I don't understand how that happens. Obviously, I don't create games, so I don't know what goes into it. But a whole bunch of other things have happened. I've gotten stuck on the highway. I've been stuck on a highway riding my motorcycle backwards, but like walk riding it, like doing the duck walk. And I couldn't get off the motorcycle, and I also couldn't stop walking backwards. So I just have to walk him all the way backwards to a loading point where it reloads, and then I can finally get off the bike. I'm playing on PS5, Giant Reggie. Hello, Roth. And hello, I want to say hello to somebody else. Hello, Jesus. So, yeah, I've experienced a litany of bugs. The character AI, in my opinion, when you're fighting enemies, is abysmal. It doesn't feel complete. You shoot enemies, and sometimes they don't react at all. You shoot enemies and they die, but they still talk to you and yell like they're under attack. You shoot enemies and they will flip around in the air. You'll shoot enemies and when they land on the ground, they'll go to stand up and they do like a cartwheel. Like they like fly through the air to stand up. You have your AI companions that are with you and they run through walls, or they run in circles, or they run in your way, or they say the same goddamn dialogue over and over and over again. What's the main companion do? What's his name?
V or Jackie?
Jackie. When I go on a mission with him, he tells me, no joke, at least 25 times within the span of 5 minutes that there's a camera and it's going to see me. And this happens after I've deactivated all the cameras. He just keeps telling me, he's like, watch out, V, there's a camera, over and over and over again, as there's bad guys looking directly at me and not reacting at all. And I can just walk up to them with a shotgun and shoot them in the face. And sometimes they die and sometimes they don't. It's crazy. I cannot believe how broken it is. And
the police system is ridiculous too. I don't know if you've had any run-ins with the police, but I don't even know why they're in the game. It's ridiculous. They see you, like if they do a transgression, the cops will be on you immediately. You can turn around and see them spawn like out of nowhere, thin air. They're there, and then You just drive literally a block and they're gone, and it's over. I've been chased by cops in cars, like they're on me. I see them on the mini map in cars. I drive a block and then they stop.
Yeah, that's what people were saying online. The
point?
cops are completely broken. There's no like they serve no purpose because nothing really happens to you. You can just drive away very quickly and that's it. They forget anything's going on. I told you my first interaction with a cop was literally in the first 5 minutes of the game when I was driving down the highway and a
doing 64 and someone laid a big one and blew me out the door.
A policeman literally dropped from the sky into my car. Like he dropped from out of frame into my car and I ran him over, and then a menu pops up and it's like interactions with the police are an important part of it. And I'm like, well, I didn't even see him. He came out of nowhere.
Call of Duty, bro.
Call of Duty, bro. What is that?
Officer, Call of Duty.
Oh, I get it. So yes, Aloe Wolf, we need a RoboCop. I don't. It's horrendous. And CD Projekt Red put out an apology for it. And they were like, I forget exactly what they said. Let me look it up because I don't want to mince words.
Yeah, I did watch your video about their quote unquote apology, Raw Meat.
Thank you.
Because I honestly, I mean, all I've heard so far is that, the game is super glitchy, but I didn't get any, real details beyond that. Are both you and Deux are you both still actually playing the game?
Deux is. I have decided that I do not want to support this, and I have opted for the refund option. So I am done. I am bowing out.
Okay.
I was talking to Deux because I wasn't sure if I was going to do it or not, and I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, this isn't how it should be. This is not right. And because of their apology and everything, which they say here, blah, blah, blah. First of all, we would like to start by apologizing to you for not showing the game on base last-gen consoles before it premiered, and in consequence, not allowing you to make a more informed decision about your purchase. We should have paid more attention to making it play better on PS4 and Xbox One. Before the game came out, they purposefully blocked footage from those versions of the game, and then they didn't send out this apology until... How many days after was it? Like maybe 3 or 4 days after the game came out?
Yeah.
So they had their launch sales, which were at least over 8 million. We know over 8 million for sure. And then once they sold the 8+ million, they're like, oh, sorry, we should have paid more attention to those other versions. That is such a load of BS. There is no way the developers weren't aware of the issues with those platforms. This is a statement from management, not a statement from developers, because the developers obviously knew things were wrong, and upper management was blocking footage of those versions because the game was made for PS4 and Xbox One. We're talking about over 8 years of development. The PS4 and Xbox One were the target platforms for this game. And they let the launch weekend sales happen, and then they were like, "Oh, we're sorry." Like I said, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is for permission. So that's what they did. They just let those people bite the bullet, and then they're like, "Oh, sorry, we'll fix it." And in the apology, they're like, "Just wait, we're going to update it." And they're talking about how updates are going to come into the next year and everything. We waited 8 years for the game. You screwed us over when it came out, and now you're asking us to trust you again after this just happened. And wait more. Do I think the game will get better? Yes. Do I think they'll fix things? Yes. How much? I don't know. But you can't ask me to trust you after you just showed me why I shouldn't trust you. I have no problem waiting for the game for it to be a not broken game. I don't like the wait. I don't like delays, but I will gladly do that over getting what we got. It's a mistreatment of the customers, and I don't blame the developers. I blame upper management. I know the developers worked their asses off and had to put in a lot of crunch time and now have to put in even more, and this is a nightmare for them. And developers have talked to upper management and talked all about how they've lost the company's good name. They lost over $1 billion in stock value. They went from being a beloved developer to this. They've lost any goodwill that they had. It's horrendous.
In a week.
In a
1
week.
week it happened.
Yes. And developers talk to upper management, and things are leaking out because developers are like, why did you tell people that this game was in a complete playable state? That is not the truth. And you know that wasn't the truth. And upper management gave a very upper management response. And one of the developers, they didn't say who on the team, because they had like an internal meeting where all the developers could talk to upper management and share their grievances. And one of the developers was like, does anybody on upper management see the irony of a game about big corporations ruining everything turn out to be a game that was ruined by the upper management ruining everything? And they gave like a very, non-response response. So yeah, I want
to is ridiculous too. Like, there's a pandemic going on, right? And people, although not as forgiving as I would like them to be, people are a lot more forgiving and open-minded to like, or I guess expecting like delays and for things to be like a little bit off course. So like, they could have just been like, oh, because of the pandemic, we need more time.
Yeah,
or
I don't care what your reason is. Just be honest.
Yeah.
In my experience, people are not more understanding during the pandemic.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's people like you and I out there, Mom Brain.
Yeah, I would say, the internet's always going to crap over everything no matter what. But yeah, usually the majority of people will side with you on that. They just remain silent. It's the assholes who jump on social media and complain.
Can we say asshole?
We just did. So yeah, it's a rough situation. It's only going to get worse for the next couple months at least. I don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, these are unprecedented moves that Sony and Microsoft have taken, and obviously, those two companies are not happy. Now they're processing a huge amount of refunds, way more than they ever have to do. And they had to change policies and put out statements on their social media channel. It's embarrassing for them. Sony said, like, this is not up to their standards of quality, and they have to apologize for a third-party company. It's embarrassing. It's very embarrassing.
Sony said this, by the way.
Sony did, yes. I give Sony a lot of credit because they were very strongly out against what happened and very strongly said, like, here's what we're going to do. Here's how you can get a refund. Because that's the other thing. CD Projekt Red, when they first announced that they were going to be doing refunds, the way they worded their statement made it sound like there was a special refund program. And investors got in touch with CD Projekt Red and they were like, can you tell us more about this refund program? And upper management said, oh, there's no special refund program. It's just their standard refund options. So that makes Sony and Microsoft look bad because CD Projekt Red is like, yeah, you can get refunds. And everybody's thinking, oh, there's a special way to get refunds. And that wasn't true. So Microsoft and Sony, because they don't want their consumers mad at them, went through and made special situations to refund the game. That was not the plan. And that's not what CD Projekt Red meant when they put out their statement. There was no discussion of that and no plans were in place. So they screwed over Sony and Microsoft in multiple ways. This situation is crazy.
I have a question.
Yes.
Well, first off, I don't know if, well, I don't know. This is going to get me in trouble. I don't want to say that. Why was this the time to put it out? What pressure were they getting to put it out right now?
Vitamin G, that's an excellent question. And it's one Deux and I have talked about because they self-published the game. The only pressure to put the game out now by this deadline was from within their own company in upper management.
Well, allow me to share that I was listening to NPR the other day and they were talking about it. And they were saying how the gaming industry during the pandemic has experienced quite a boom. And so potentially they were pushing to get it out to like strike while the iron is hot, while the gaming industry is booming. But I don't necessarily think that this is the kind of game that is booming right now.
I mean, multiple games have gotten big bumps because of the pandemic. Yes, because more people are home playing. And this game was going to be big no matter what because it's been so hyped up. I don't know that that's the reason. I can't say for sure. We don't know for sure. But yeah, Vitamin G, I have the exact same question because I have I really think it's the difference between development and upper management. Upper management, I mean, they had delayed the game multiple times. So with each delay, consumers get more angry. Sure. Does that correlate to less sales? I don't know. Maybe, but I wouldn't say by like a huge amount or anything like that. And I'm sure those people would, on the internet, most of them would say, I'm not buying this game, and then buy it anyway, because who the hell's going to know? But yeah, you have to wonder why. This is what I was saying to Do the other day. Why didn't they, when obviously the development knows that they need more time, instead of continually delaying the game, say, listen, we're going to be honest. We need more time to make a project that we feel is worthy of your time and money. We will put the game out when it's ready. We'll keep you updated on development progress as we go. We don't have a set release date. But they just kept falling into that same hole, and then they farted it out. And the other good point is
what hole would that be?
The fart hole.
The fart hole.
The fart hole.
Thank you.
The other good point is Nintendo has been in a similar situation when it comes to delays, because Nintendo often does delay their games. And as Do was saying the other day, Miyamoto roughly said, a delayed game can eventually be good, but a bad game is forever. And Nintendo will take their time to make games, and they're not afraid to delay them. They don't like delaying them, and they always apologize to fans, but it's to make a good game. And the best example of that is Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4 should have been out on the Switch already a couple years ago. Nintendo was taking a different developer approach. They worked with other teams, and Nintendo wasn't happy with how it was going. And fans were expecting the game to come out, and they're like, where is it? Nintendo put out a video saying, we apologize. The game is not in a shape where we're happy with it. We're not going to release it when we said we're going to release it. We are not giving you a release date. And they said, we want to be very clear. We are starting development from scratch. They scrapped pretty much everything they had for the game and started over with a new team and a new direction. And they said, we don't know, like, there's no information on release date right now, but we want to be open with you guys and say, this is what happened during development. We're going to take the time that we need to take, and the game will be out when we feel it is ready. And yes, everybody was disappointed because everybody wants to play Metroid Prime 4. And everybody's been waiting for that game for a very long time. But you have to respect the fact that they came out and said that, because that's not an easy thing to do, especially when there's no end in sight. And now with the CD Projekt Red situation, you can appreciate something like that even more. It's just the CD Projekt Red has lost so much in a week's time. It's unbelievable. And another thing I was saying with Do is they don't put out games all the time. Like, they had the Witcher series where they put them out, years apart. And then Cyberpunk was their next big game. So, like, this is their game for the next 5 or 6 years at least. I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, like question.
Oh, good.
And I'm not saying I don't feel bad for Sony and Microsoft, but don't they have some sort of quality control for a game like this, where it doesn't sound like you have to play very long to see that it's total crap?
I don't know the exact specifics of their quality control. They do have quality control, but I believe the situation is when it comes to first party games and second party partners, they have a much closer look at those projects because they're actually tied to them and funding them. But when it comes to third parties, they have to go through like a basic certification process, and the rest is left up to the developer to handle. So whatever the baseline third party certification process was, the game managed to pass through that. So
they should consider revising that.
Yeah. I can't say that I've ever seen a game that has been this buggy and glitchy make it onto, especially of this like notoriety, make it onto their service. But yeah, I'd be willing to bet that they're going to address that and take a closer look at that from here on out, because this is embarrassing for all parties involved, whether it's the fault of Microsoft or Sony at all. Because now there's people online who are like, well, Assassin's Creed Valhalla was buggy and this game was buggy. They're like, what, are we going to have all these games not get released for years now because they're fixing things? And I'm like, yes, that's how it should be. Yes, you want to get a product.
Yes.
You want to get a product that is as good as it can be at launch when at least it comes to performance. That I can't believe people are like, oh, now games are going to be delayed more. This sucks. That's so you get a better product. You can, without a doubt, bet that so many companies are looking at this now and they're like, crap, we got to make sure our games are in much better shape when they launch, because over the last few years, a lot of companies have released games in not so great states because they're like, oh, we could just put out an update or two once the game comes out. We'll take care of it.
But
now that's not really a thing.
No, like the culture that they're releasing these games into, like,
Hi,
do they
8-bit
not
Lego.
realize that, like,
They know the culture is complain online and buy it anyway. That's what they know.
okay.
It's pre-order the game, buy it, and go online and say, this is horrendous. I can't believe this. That's why we saw 8+ million sales for the game already. And people complain online, but we have seen the needle shift because there are obviously a lot of refunds going on here, and the game is very obviously broken. So I don't know, man. It's just crazy. I've never seen anything like it in the game industry, not on this level by far. We've had games that are buggy. We've had games that are broken. We have games that get patched months and months after release. But I can't think of a game where so many of your core mechanics are unfinished. Like, it's beyond broken. It's just not done. Like it's not done.
I can see me. I mean, I'm having a better experience than you as far as enjoying the parts of the game that you can enjoy. But for me, it's like underneath this junk, I can see a game that I would really enjoy. But there's just so much. Like, you literally can't go 5 minutes in the game without something taking you out of it, whether it's a little silly bug or something bigger. For me, you can't go 5 minutes. And in fact, you're talking about patches and stuff. They put a patch out last night for it. It was like 18 gigs or something. And I was reading the patch notes, and it said that it fixes something that I was having a problem with in my game. Basically, when you get a call from a character, a little video screen comes up in the corner, and you can see the person who's talking to you as if it's FaceTime or something. But in my game, it's like that video screen is all glitchy, and I thought it was part of this mission that I had done because it would make sense. Basically, I did a mission for an AI structure, and it like I thought it infected me because after that mission, it was like all buggy, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, maybe when I finish their mission thread, I'll get to the bottom of it and then I won't be buggy anymore. So no, that wasn't the case. I finished their mission thread, and that was never supposed to happen because I thought it was going to be like I'm sorry, Dave, I'm afraid I can't do that kind of thing. Yeah. And it wasn't. He was a good AI. He was a nice guy, and he didn't want to glitch me at all. So I'm still, every time I get a call from a character in the game, I still have like a fuzzy screen that looks all glitchy. And I read that they'd fixed that in the PS5 update and or the console update, and it's not fixed. so I don't know what that's all about. And then I read the PC specific changes because they put out a patch for PC that's different from the console version. Yeah. And the issue I was telling you about with my settings being reset has been, according to them, addressed on the PC, just not on the console versions.
Well, so, maybe by 2022 you'll have that fixed up.
Or by 2077. Maybe it's the most meta game of all time, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
The glitches are not a bug; they're a feature.
Exactly.
I just want to point out that I have my issues with the game itself when I remove all the bugs and glitches and crashes and all that stuff. But I'm not going to talk about any of that until over a year from now, probably, when I play the game and it's in a better state, hopefully. Because that's not the story here. The story isn't how I feel about the game as far as the game goes. The story is all this craziness that's going on. And if you're playing the game and enjoying it, that's fantastic. If you're playing the game and not having issues, it's rare, but good for you.
Is anyone enjoying this game? I'd be interested to hear.
I'm sure there are people who are enjoying it. Like we said, the PC version is running the best, but it still has an inordinate amount of issues. Like, there was a streamer who is saying that the PC version is in the best shape, and they still have had multiple glitches, but they feel like it's getting better. And as she said that on stream, one of the sidekick characters walked through a closed door and disappeared.
Oh, no.
So yeah, and like Deux said, he's having fun with it, but he is obviously a very patient man in this situation because he's dealt with dozens of crashes, issues within the game that ruin progress, multiple restarts. Like these are not things you should be dealing with. So
Yeah,
Cats underwater.
cats underwater. I did see that. A cat. He showed me. Deux showed me a cat walking around normally underwater as if it weren't underwater.
It was amazing. The future is an incredible place.
In the future, cats can live underwater.
Windows don't roll down.
Dead people talk. So yeah, we'll see and we had to talk about that story. There's no way we couldn't. It's one of the biggest game stories of the year, and we are literally just getting started with that story. Who knows what's going to happen in the next week because it's an absolute nightmare. I'm sorry, Grimbles. I feel like you've joined us for a show that started off very serious when we usually don't do that. I apologize, but do you have anything to share about what you heard?
I'm just wondering if any of the designers are going to jump ship because of this huge debacle.
Well, that's what I think is going to happen in the next week. I think the developers are going to have a fight with upper management that's already going on now. And there's no doubt some people are going to leave this company because they've been under crunch for at least a year. And the game is out, and now the situation is even worse. They have months, if not over a year ahead of them, where it's just getting the game to a state where it should have been at launch, not even improving or adding DLC or anything like that. It's just like, okay, the game's out and is literally broken. Now we have to crunch again to get this while the entire internet hates us and we're working crazy amounts of time every day. So yeah, there's going to be developers without a doubt that jump ship. They've been leaking discussions to press sites to share what's going on behind the scenes with the developers versus the upper management and everything. Yeah, it's a nightmare from every direction, but yeah, people are going to leave without a doubt.
Yeah, Ramit, I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So I've been playing the Witcher series since like the first game, which was like, I don't know, I think that was like 2007 or something. It was a long time ago.
You and I have both been. I've been there from the start as well.
Oh, did you play the first game?
I did. Yeah, I literally upgraded my computer back then to play the original Witcher.
Oh wow! Yeah, I played through it twice. But anyway, my point is, I guess I've been following CD Projekt Red since the beginning, sort of.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask, how big has their development team gotten? Like since they first started, like how big has the company gotten?
Well, with the original Witcher, they weren't really that big at all. But
yeah, that's the thing, because they were like this tiny this tiny company from Poland.
Yeah,
they were like kind of an underdog.
Yeah, definitely.
My question basically was like how much have they grown since then? Like how many people are working for them currently? Yeah,
I don't know what the number is. I know between Witcher 1 and 2, they expanded modestly, not a lot, but they did get members. But with Witcher 3 and its success, yeah, they ballooned in the amount of developers there. They are. Let me see if I can get a number on Wiki. But yeah, it's not like 20 people working there. They have a lot.
I've said I've told you this a couple of times over the past week. Probably everybody in this chat, but I'll never forget opening up my copy of The Witcher 3, and there was one of CD Projekt Red's like yellow notes in there, but it was so personal, and it was just like, thank you for buying the game. We worked so hard on this, and we've got such a team from all over that, put their heart and soul into this. And we just, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much. And it like kind of touched me a little bit. And I played the game, and it's ancient history now that it's like one of my favorite games ever.
Yeah.
And it just, and the amount of love they put into like the DLCs that came out of it and everything, I just thought they were the best. And then they put this stuff out, and then their apology goes on that crappy apology goes on the same yellow card. And you just, you see that and you're just like, you know what? You feel, you can't help but feel a little betrayed or bamboozled a little, like as if it was all styrofoam or saccharin.
Well,
or whatever.
it might have been true at that time, but yeah, they've gotten too big. Kirby, I have an answer for you, and it's even crazier than I thought. The original CD Projekt Red team was 15 people. By the end of The Witcher 1, they expanded to 100 people, which is still very small for that caliber game. Now CD Projekt Red has
16 people.
They have 1,111 employees now. That's a massive growth. Man, this whole situation is crazy. You know what? Again, I need to stress, I am not bashing the developers of CD Projekt Red because
I feel so sorry for the developers.
Yeah, I know they can do the work. I know they can make great games. They just were asked to do a monumental task in not a fair amount of time. And also, the Witcher series was fantastic. Like Deux said, he loves it. Kirby loves it. I love it. And they most recently had a lot of success with Witcher 3 on the Switch. That's a million-selling game on the Switch, and that came out years after it was out on other platforms. And they had partners for that, sure, but they did a great job with that. And they said they're really happy they brought it there. They found a whole new audience there that got to play it. So yeah, they had like the people that are on their teams are dedicated to making quality content and unique experiences. It's just that this was an insurmountable task to do in the amount of time that they had. They call it feature creep. A game starts development and they start adding in this thing, that thing, the other thing, and it just becomes too much and they lose sight of everything. And there's not enough people doing whatever segment of a game, and the portions of the company aren't talking to each other, and things just go haywire. So.
Yeah, it makes me very sad, and I'm sure it'll take a very, very long time for the company's reputation.
It's not impossible. It's not impossible because look at what happened with No Man's Sky. That was a disaster when it came out, and those guys still now are working on the game, but they've spent years making that game what they promised it would be. And I would say they've gotten to that point, if not exceeded it. But it literally took years. Oh, yeah. That game is far and above what it was when it first launched.
I've never heard anyone talk about them improving the game at all.
Yeah, no.
I just heard about the fallout.
No. Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, it's usually the negative stuff that gets more attention. And I'm not saying rightfully so, because it certainly deserved it. But yeah, over the last few years, they've done a lot with that game. That No Man's Sky was actually nominated this year for a Game Award for Best Ongoing Game. That's how far they've come in improving. They've done a fantastic job. It's like a whole new game now. It is what they promised when they revealed the game. So they did an excellent job. But that has taken them years, and they no doubt lost millions of supporters because the game was not what they said it would be when it came out. But they took the time and they fixed it. Obviously, they would have liked it to be a different situation when the game first launched, but they took the time and they did it. I'm sure CD Projekt Red can do something with Cyberpunk, but this is on a whole different scale. 5 years at least. Oh yeah, without a doubt. I can't imagine. I can't. They have to fix the PS4 and Xbox One base versions. They have to work on the PS5 and Xbox Series X updates. They have to do all that while they're still working on the PC version. And then I'm sure they had DLC plans and all that. This is going to be going on for multiple years, without a doubt. Yeah. Well, I think we dedicated that. Like I said, I know we talked about that a lot, but that's a very important topic. I can't think of any topic that big that we've had to discuss in recent years. It's just, and this is all within a week plus of the game coming out. So
this has been the Cyberpunk 2077 screw up podcast, where
that's the big thing. Episode 800 was our celebration of the podcast, and 801 from here on out, all the episodes will be about Cyberpunk. We're Cyberpunk only podcast. Believe it or not, there was a lot of Nintendo news this week. We are going to cover as much as I can, but we're not gonna I'll do it as completely as I can without going on forever. So we'll see what we got. But there's lots of fun stuff to talk about here. So, Mom Brain, if you could, Jimmy, with that news jingle, please.
Finally.
Sorry. Thank you. Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox have come together for a, quote, shared commitment to safer gaming. This is really cool. We see Microsoft and Sony, or I'm sorry, we see Microsoft and Nintendo work together all the time. Microsoft and Nintendo have an unbelievably fantastic relationship. Those two work so well together, are proud of their relationship, and talk about each other very highly. It's really cool to see. But now Sony's in the loop too, because all three companies are pledging to make online play safer, because anybody that has played any online game knows that when you turn on a microphone, it is the worst stuff you've ever heard. When you deal with strangers, it is racist, it's misogynistic, it's
Nickelback.
It's Nickelback. Nobody wants to hear that.
Tons and tons of Nickelback fans.
And all three companies have finally decided to push back against Nickelback. So don't worry, everybody. Yeah, all three companies are coming together because they're pledging to make online a safer environment through a whole bunch of different ways. They put out a joint statement. Again, we're talking about stuff that never happens this week. A joint statement about keeping players safe, empowering players so that they feel safe, giving them ways to deal with these creeps online, keep their data safe, all that good stuff. Also, accessibility. They're all working towards better accessibility.
Yeah.
Microsoft is the leader in that pack, without a doubt.
Makes me so happy.
Nintendo's been doing pretty good lately. They got a lot to go, but Microsoft has been leading the way. And the cool part is Microsoft has talked to the other companies and said, listen, we have these accessibility features. If you want to work with them, they're yours. So it's very cool that Microsoft is not gating that stuff. They're just like, this is for everybody. And every type of gamer deserves to have this stuff.
People with different abilities deserve the same things that their non-disabled peers have.
Well, that's what's going on. So they have some core values here. They're going for prevention. They're going for partnerships to help keep people safe, and taking responsibility. They say they are holding themselves responsible for making platforms as safe as possible. And they've given a piece-by-piece breakdown on what they're going to do. So very much needed, because online play, unless you're playing with friends, is an absolute nightmare. Every single day I see stuff that is said to people that is so horrendous. There is no way I could even mention any of the specifics on the podcast. It's horrendous. It's horrible. All the way from little kids to adults. And I know the little kids shouldn't be saying this stuff, but I don't fault them. I fault the parents. It's a little kid. We all do things that are stupid when we're little kids, but then the other problem is we have the, late teens, early 20s, 30s, all the way up to whatever, who are doing this kind of stuff too. And it's
Don't you
disgusting.
think part of, of course, obviously the children need to learn to understand
someone please think of the children.
Appropriate language and behavior.
I blame the kids.
But do you think part of the problem is that the parents don't necessarily understand the technology enough to help make it so the parents can better monitor the kids, and the kids are like taking advantage of the fact that their parents are just dumb about this stuff?
Oh, without a doubt.
Listen, I'm right here. My daughter signed on to my account one time, and I corrected her behavior. Can we just move on?
Yeah, poor Grimbles has had to deal with kids stealing V-Bucks from him.
What? Really?
Oh, no.
That's why there's
clarify that, because it makes me sound like I don't know how to function online.
They were. It's a little bit of a different situation than that, but there was an unlawful exchange of V-Bucks that happened.
I don't even know what the V in V-Bucks stands for. Is it virtual bucks?
It's actually Venga Boys.
Venga Bucks.
No, it's Venga Bucks.
Venga Bucks.
Venga Bucks.
The Venga Bucks are coming.
That's how you buy your seat on the Venga Bus.
I'm gonna buy a Evo and then I'm gonna dance.
Yeah, and the head of the bank is the Six Flags guy.
Ew.
You want more V-Bucks? What the hell are we talking about? Yeah, they're gonna keep people safe. That's it. Akmaguins has the first comment, and they say that is very true. Sadly, most parents couldn't care less. I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy, especially with the easy access to tech that kids have nowadays. But my wife and I work really hard to make sure our son is safe and know why he's safe. See, yeah, it's hard. I know it's hard to keep up with technology and all that stuff, and parents have a buttload of other stuff that they're doing. And I know there are great parents out there who really try their hardest to keep kids safe, but there's still going to be stuff that slips through the cracks.
There's also stuff that's like marketed, like YouTube Kids, right? Like parents just assume that because it's YouTube Kids, they have no responsibility for like looking in on things. Like, all right, YouTube Kids, it's safe. I have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, and
like,
then you have kids, you wander over and your kid's watching a video where Elsa's pregnant by Spider-Man.
I was just thinking about the pregnant Elsa Spider-Man videos.
And it gives birth to a baby Hulk. Yeah, you're
That
like, what?
video teaches a very valuable.
This Marvel Cinematic Universe is getting real weird.
I'm fairly certain there are videos on YouTube Kids that are programming Russian sleeper agents
Yeah.
in the United States.
Yeah, they're going to broadcast like a secret phrase one day, and all the kids are going to turn and kill their parents.
I'm not kidding.
That is one of my favorite American Dad episodes. There's an American Dad episode where Stan's daughter is a sleeper agent, and he made her a sleeper agent, and he's the only one that knows a phrase to wake her up. And so I forget who talks to him, but they're like, how do you know that you're never accidentally going to say the phrase that'll wake her up? And he's like, oh, it's something that no one would ever say. And later in the episode, he has to wake her up. And so he says the phrase, and the phrase is, I'm beginning to get fed up with this orgasm. It's so good.
Mom Brand, can we get a no?
Roger? Yes, the Roger no, please.
Absolutely.
I haven't heard that in a while.
No.
There we go.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was distracted by the picture of pregnant Elsa with Spider-Man.
I got to go into Discord. So anyway, yes, I think it's very cool that all three companies are taking that stuff seriously, as they should. And parents who are doing their best, good for you. Because I am not a parent, but I obviously play games and I know about online stuff with games. And I know it's very difficult. So the good parents out there who are putting the time in and doing what they can, even if it's not working out the best as possible, at least you're trying. That's what matters.
Don't shame me for using YouTube Kids, though.
No, I would never. How could you pass up watching pregnant Elsa? Anybody would want to see that.
That's what I mean. I'm the one watching it.
Oh. I didn't know you were watching. We could have been watching that every night instead of playing Fortnite.
Or you could have been watching that Johnny, yes, Papa.
Oh, man. We've been
There's
missing
only
out.
300 different versions of that stupid stuff.
Oh, and you watched them all.
And they all have billions of views.
You guys want to go on House Party and watch some YouTube Kids?
Yes, Papa. All right. This week, the NES and Super Nintendo Switch Online collection were updated. Grimbles, you'll be happy to know that Donkey Kong Country 3 Dixie Kong's Double Trouble is now available on that service. Hanging and banging, baby.
I never played that one either, so I'll have to get in there.
That is the original. So the full original trilogy is there now for the playing. That one stars Dixie Kong as well as the worst Kong, Baby Kong, or Kitty Kong. His name is Kitty Kong. God, I hate that. The dumb. There's a lot of dumb Kongs, but Kitty Kong is the worst one.
Does Kitty Kong yell racial slurs at all of the other Kongs?
I don't think so. It's been a while since I played it.
Power on the dark
But
side.
I don't think so. Obviously, we know who the best Kong is.
Oh man, it's either I want to say Lanky Kong,
and I want to say you're right.
Okay, good. I thought I was either going to be Lanky or Cranky, right?
Cranky's great. I also would throw Funky in there, but Lanky.
I was going to say Funky. Which one is Lanky?
Lanky is the lanky one.
Could you be a little more specific?
Lanky debuted in Donkey Kong 64. I believe he wears blue overalls and kind of like shambles around on the ground with his lanky arms.
Oh, okay. See, I never played 64, so I'm not familiar with Lanky Kong either.
But yes, Funky Kong is a very acceptable answer. But Baby Kong is never the correct answer. Or goddamn it, not Baby, Kitty Kong.
Babby Kong.
Why
Now,
is Babby
isn't-
Kong?
A little bit of trivia, maybe. Isn't Cranky Kong like the original DK?
That is
Yes.
correct.
Yes,
Yes.
I can confirm this.
So Donkey Kong Country features Donkey Kong, but that is not the original Donkey Kong. The original Donkey Kong is Cranky Kong in that game. Yeah, and he tells the new Donkey Kong that he's doing everything wrong.
It's canon.
It is canon. Yes, that's correct. Also available for Super Nintendo players on the Switch is the Ignition Factor, which I believe is some firefighter related game. Super Valis 4 and Tough Enough are available. Tough Enough is a beat 'em up. And the NES has gotten the enigmatic crime caper Nightshade. So we did all those. We did that. Yeah. So if you have your Switch Online service, which is $20 a year or whatever a month, I don't know, you get access to these Netflix style services for NES and Super Nintendo games, and they do include online play. And now you have 5 more games to check out. Steister says, awesome. I'm, of course, hyped for Donkey Kong Country 3, but the other SNES and NES games look pretty interesting as well. I love when they add games to the service. Gives me an excuse to go play some classics that I missed out on, and feels like a low-risk way to try something new. Yeah, it is low risk without a doubt, and there's even stuff on there that I haven't played that I've been meaning to play, but there's no usually easy way to play them. So yeah, having them on this service is pretty cool. Plus, if you like those added features, you get save states and all that. And I believe you can rewind as well. And like I said, online play. So lots of cool stuff there. Speaking of cool stuff on the Switch, this one's for all the weeaboos out there. Funimation has released an app on the Switch. So the Switch doesn't have a lot in the way of multimedia apps. It has Hulu and YouTube. It doesn't have Netflix or Amazon or anything like that. We still don't know why. I think Nintendo, the running theory is that Nintendo wanted to focus on games more than that other stuff and let the games shine, which has certainly paid off. But now we are slowly getting some other stuff. We've gotten comic book apps on there, so if you can read digital comics, but this is a big one. Funimation now has an app on the Switch. I believe Sony just purchased Funimation. They purchased an anime company. I think it's Funimation. I'm sure somebody in the chat knows. And it was for almost $1 billion. I cannot get over the fact that back when I was a kid, I would watch anime on like Sci-Fi. Kirby, you remember, what was that Sci-Fi block where they showed anime? What was that called?
Oh, I don't remember. This was back when they called it like they didn't call it anime. They called it like Japanimation.
Yes.
In the 90s.
Yes. But that's where I first really started seeing like anime. That's where I saw like Vampire Hunter D and other stuff like that. Oh man.
Oh my God. I was scarred for life. I saw that when I was like way too young. I was like, this is the goriest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It is very gory. But yeah, going from that, which was niche, obviously, to where anime is now. Anna Monday, says Wolfric Chaser. Going to where anime is now. It's crazy. I cannot believe how popular mainstream anime has gotten. I never thought I would see that, and it's very cool to see. Mom Brain has been watching. I
forgot about Anna Mondays.
Mom Brain has been watching My Hero Academia.
Yes.
And it's an excellent show. The biggest thing with anime is you have to get past the terrible names because they all have terrible names.
Well, you have to get past the terrible names and the fact that most anime fans are serial killers.
Well, I mean, every fandom has its serial killers, but
oh sure.
Yeah, there's lots of great anime stuff out there, but yes, it's very cool that this app is on the Switch now. So now you can jump on. You can watch stuff for free if you want, but you can also get the subscription to the service. And Funimation has a lot of stuff that is day and date with their Japanese releases. So they have the subbed version the same time that the Japanese version launches. So you don't really have to wait for localization. It's pretty much done right away, thanks to these companies like Funimation and Aniplex and others, Crunchyroll, that do this. Like, they have amazing teams that work on translations right away. The episode will air in Japan, and then a couple hours later you get the English subbed version, which is really cool. Wow. That's
I'm
really
surprised to hear that anime is so popular because I get all my news from this website called Anime Your Way, and they haven't updated anything in years.
Yeah, I don't have the time to watch as much anime as I used to. I wish I did. Yeah, here's a little anime fact for you. Netflix in recent years has spent more money on anime than anything else in their service because it gets a huge amount of viewers and the cost is not anywhere near as big as compared to live action programming. So they can get, 6 to 8 exclusive anime series only for Netflix plus licenses for other shows where, it would cost the same amount for maybe 1 or 2 live action shows. You do like a Stranger Things, and is Queen's Gambit on Netflix?
I think so.
Some situation like that. And, those aren't guaranteed. Anime fans will pretty much give any anime a shot. When it comes to something like Queen's Gambit, it turned out to be a hit for them, so that's very lucky. But there's so much stuff on Netflix that it's very hard to find something.
Your dad is even watching anime, isn't he?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Isn't Raw Dad even watching anime?
Unbelievably,
Greek God show?
Yes, he watched an anime that I didn't even know existed. It was a brand new anime, and he was telling me how much he liked it. I wish I could remember what it was, but it's about Greek gods. I know that.
Wait, was it the Blood of Zeus anime by the Castlevania guys?
I that sounds right. How recent is that?
I think it just came out in the past couple of months.
Yes, then that's it. Yeah, he was telling me, he was like, it's unbelievable, and the animation is so good, and the story's great. And I was like, you're telling me about an anime where for years I tried to get you to watch anime? So there's no better proof that anime is for everyone than my dad watching an anime.
Didn't they watch Attack on Titan, or was that just your mom?
Well, my dad watched it, but doesn't really care. My mom likes anime. Yeah, she watched Attack on Titan. She watched Death Note. She watched.
We all watched Death Note. It was great.
She watched Case Closed. She watched Ghost in the Shell. Whole bunch. She's seen a whole bunch. Yeah, she's down for that. She watched the. It's not anime, but she watched the Castlevania series on Netflix too. So yes, a lot of people have been looking for a Funimation or a Crunchyroll app, or is Crunchyroll on Switch? I don't remember, but now you got Funimation. Golf Dude says, interesting that the Switch is getting the new Funimation app first when Funimation is owned by Sony of all companies. There you go. So I was right. Yeah. Not only did we get Funimation, the Switch app debuted a brand new version of the Funimation app, because the Funimation app has been around for a while, but they've completely revamped it and they debuted it on Switch. So there you go. Like I said, weebs enjoy it. I got to get into some more anime, man. I really do love anime. I think it does such a good job of showing like boobs, of showing like things you don't they do stories you don't really see anywhere else. I really, really like it.
Can I ask a quick question?
I would love to hear it.
Maybe I'm a complete fool, but why would Castlevania not be classified as anime? I don't.
It's not made by a Japanese. The cartoon that is on Netflix isn't made by a Japanese company. Its visuals somewhat look like anime, but it's made by Americans and Europeans. But there's no like it's not a traditional Japanese animation studio that's making it.
Got it.
That's a good question.
I think it's the same case for that whatever show your dad's watching.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that might have 1 or 2 people who've worked on animes, but by and large, it's not a traditional Japanese anime studio. Moving on. There was an Indie World Showcase, which I will give you a complete rundown now, which announced a whole bunch that's right, Josh. Moving on, announced a whole bunch of a whole bunch of indie games that are coming to the Switch, and as usual, we got ones that were surprised, revealed, and launched on that same day. The biggest one of all of them, which they ended the presentation with, was Among Us. Among Us is now available on the Switch, so we didn't even know it was coming to the Switch. They surprised announced it and said it was available that same day. That makes the Switch the very first console to get Among Us. So you can play it on mobile, PC, and now Switch, which is awesome. That's a huge get for Nintendo to be the console exclusive for Among Us. It's going to Xbox. I know that for sure. And I believe it's going to PlayStation, but that's not until next year. So, Yes, Switch has it now. That's a huge deal. And it shot right up to #1 on the eShop charts. It didn't even have a full week of eShop charts and it already took #1. So and it's $5. I think that's what it is on PC as well. So, and it has crossplay. You're playing with all the same people, mobile, PC. So everybody
For $1.
For $1.
For $1.
Thank you, Billy.
For $1.
Thank you, Billy.
For $1.
Yes, Billy.
For
thank you.
$1.
Okay.
That's $5.
Also, no, I get it. Also announced for Switch was the combination of Spelunky and Spelunky 2. Spelunky is a multi-award-winning randomly generated or procedurally generated dungeon platformer that has sold millions upon millions, but it never made its way to any Nintendo platform. Now it is coming to the Switch, but also the sequel, Spelunky 2, which was only just recently released on the PlayStation, is gonna come to the Switch. And this game, I have no doubt, is gonna sell an insane amount on the Switch. It's a perfect type of game for Switch. So both of those are coming to the Switch sometime in summer 2021. Grindstone was released on that same day, actually. So we knew Grindstone was coming to the Switch, but it's now available. That's from Capybara Games, which has made a lot of great puzzlers. I'm playing Grindstone on my phone right now.
Is that a blacksmith simulator?
That's correct. It's about this guy who wants to take his kids on a vacation, but he can't afford it. So he decides to become like a warrior that goes into a mountain to kill monsters and collects grindstones. So basically it's about him risking his life to make a nice vacation for his kids.
Instead of vacation. Got it.
Yes.
I thought it was going to be like he couldn't afford it, so he got a job and kept his nose to the grindstone. And then they went on vacation.
That's it. Yeah, it's just about a hardworking man. That's all. He's just a common man. Calico is available, Mom Brain. Magical Girls, Cat Cafes, and Cuddly Animals. What more do you need in your life? Calico is available now. We got a release date for Super Meat Boy Forever, the very highly anticipated sequel to Super Meat Boy. Super Meat Boy Forever is coming out on December 23rd on Switch as a console launch exclusive. So you'll be able to play on PC, but when it comes to game consoles, it's Switch until who knows when. So if you want to play it, it's on Switch. The game I was hoping they talked about, they did, and even better, it is releasing very soon. I'm literally getting goosebumps as I'm talking about this. Cyber Shadow, which is being published by Yacht Club Games. It's like if Batman on the NES and Ninja Gaiden on the NES had a baby. That's what this game is like, with awesome chiptune music and just old school platforming and hard as nails gameplay. It is coming to the Switch January 26th, 2021. So we finally have a release date for that. And because it's being published by Yacht Club, those of you who are Shovel Knight fans and have the Shovel Knight amiibo, they will do something in the game. I believe it's called Tunche. Tunche is a 2D beat 'em up game.
Tunche is a great name for a cat.
With breathtaking hand-drawn art that's set in the Amazon rainforest. It comes to Switch March 2021. Very, Very Valet is coming to the Switch in early 2021. Get behind the wheel to pick up, park, and return cars in over 20 locations.
That sounds awful.
Mom Brain, I showed you this game, and you will vouch for it not being awful. Fistafluffs, which is a physics-based party fighting game featuring cats, where the cats jump, lunge, scratch, and punch each other. It looks amazing. It looks so good. The combination of cats mixed in with like the physics-based movements where cats are flopping over and falling all over each other. This was announced for Switch. It's coming out spring 2021. Happy Game from Amanita Design features unnerving puzzles and a few unsettling songs in a game where you survive face-to-face encounters with suspicious smiley faces. Look up on Amanita Designs games because they make a lot of great kind of point-and-click style games, and this is their latest. I'm actually pretty excited for this because the company has a great track record. Alba, a wildlife adventure, is coming to the Switch. It's coming from award-winning studio that created Monument Valley. Monument Valley was a huge hit. This is their next game. You play, it's all about how the smallest person can make a big difference. You join Alba as she visits her grandparents on a Mediterranean island. Get ready for a peaceful summer of wildlife exploration, but there's some danger on the island. You volunteer to help heal sick animals, clean up the wilderness, and ultimately save the island from the dangers that await. Genosia is coming to Switch. This is another one I've been really excited about. So now we know it's getting a localization. This was an award-winning game in Japan that won Game of the Year from multiple outlets, including IGN. It's finally getting localized. It'll be on the Switch sometime in early 2021. It's a, quote, one-of-a-kind sci-fi adventure game, end quote, where a spaceship is overtaken by aliens who can take the form of humans. Gameplay loops only take 5 to 10 minutes, but there's 14 different characters to talk to and a whole bunch of different endings. And each time the game ends, it impacts your next playthrough. So it's a pretty cool idea. We also saw a montage of other games that are coming to the Switch, including When the Past Was Around, which is out right now. Finding Paradise, Hazel Sky, Hoa, Cosmocrots, and Trash Sailors, which is a great name.
It sure is.
I believe Trash Sailors is where you like make a boat out of garbage that's floating around the ocean. Hawk says, this is the one I'm excited for. I had a lot of fun with Spelunky 1, so he's looking forward to Spelunky 2. I might try to play this one with the wireless Super Nintendo controller. I will need a good D-pad. Yeah, definitely. That's a game where you want to use a D-pad, especially because it's so challenging. You know what, my brain can't. Well, Josh, can you help us out here? We're gonna go to our sponsorship plugs. So Josh is gonna do that, and we'll be back in less than a minute.
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Come on, guys, we're gonna be late for class.
Oh, darn, not on our first day.
Don't worry, I pressurized all of our bike tires to optimal PSI for speed.
Wow. So we should be able to average 9.6 miles per hour, which should get us to class on time. We love Podford University for teaching us these skills.
Podford University, iTunes, Spotify, and everywhere you get podcasts.
Hello, everyone. We're Superhero Stuff You Should Know. And if you think you know about superheroes and comic books, think again.
We got romance. We got action.
Romance.
We got comedy. We got everything you need, man. Come on down to Superhero Stuff You Should Know for all your superhero needs.
I don't know about this romance. What part are you talking about?
We've got all kinds of sketches and then deep dives on top of that. Come on down to Superhero Stuff You Should Know.
All right. So come on down to... Wait, why did I say come on down? To Superhero Stuff You Should Know.
Part of the Greenlit Podcast Network.
Thank you, Josh and Monbrain. Can I get a drum roll, Monbrain, please?
I guess.
The Switch was the top-selling console in Canada for November 2020. It sold more than 148,000 units, and this marks the 25th month where the Switch was number one in Canada. Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Josh.
How many Eddies is that?
I don't know the Eddie conversion right off the top of my head. I believe that is what they use in Canada. Yeah, Eddies. Yes, 25 consecutive months for the Switch. They had a special Black Friday bundle there that was the Switch and a digital version of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. In 2020, the Switch has sold 790,000 units in Canada alone, surpassing in 11 months the total number of systems sold in all of 2019 by over 162,000 units. So pretty good. Blah, blah, blah. Nintendo says they're pleased and buy their games. But, you get it. It's doing well there. So I think in North America, I think in America, the Switch has been the number one system for 24 consecutive months. We're still waiting on the data for December when that comes in, obviously, because we're not done yet. But NPD says it's trending that way. So we should see the same record here, too. The Pandalorian says the Switch is killing it globally. It's an indisputable success. It certainly is. And we're going to have more information on that later on. Do I want to do this? Polygon had a massive interview with Nintendo's Doug Bowser where he talks about a million things, but there's nothing like, Nintendo's always tight-lipped with their information. There's nothing like mind-blowing here, but he talks about a number of subjects. I'll give you some of the stuff he talks about. He talks about Joy-Con drift. He talks about the upcoming software slate. He talks about Switch Pro rumors, but obviously he doesn't say if the Switch Pro is a real thing. He talks about the impact of the pandemic on Nintendo, Animal Crossing's insane success, Switch Online service expanding it, Game Pass. Here's one I will tell you. He was asked, why is Nintendo removing so many Mario games on March 31st, 2020? As you know, we're in the celebration of 35 years of Super Mario Brothers, and we have a whole bunch of products that are out now that won't be out after March 31st. That includes Super Mario 3D All-Stars. That includes the Super Mario Brothers Game & Watch. That includes Super Mario Brothers 35 and other products. You can get them now, but March 31st, 2020, they either won't be in stores or will be delisted digitally. Why is that? People want to know. Well, here's what Doug Bowser's answer is. He says, quote, I think I use a simple word, celebration. It's just, this is a celebration of Mario's 35th anniversary, and we wanted to celebrate in unique and different ways, and we've done that through games like Super Mario 3D All-Stars. What was that, Josh?
I'm a party animal.
Or we will be doing that through future releases such as Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, or plus Bowser's Fury. And then we've also done it through releases such as Game of blah, 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 blah. With some of the titles, we felt it was an opportunity to release them for a limited period of time. They've done very well, very, very well. Super Mario 3D also, we don't need to hear that. It's not a strategy that we're going to be using widely, but it's one we thought was very unique for the actual anniversary. At this point, the decision was really made around that celebration feature and aspect. I can't speak to plans beyond the end of March. So I would say he's kind of hinting that there may be other ways to get some of this stuff after March, but they're saying they wanted the celebration of Mario's 35th anniversary to be special. So they don't want these products to be available all the time. They want them in a limited time. And nothing says celebration like the party ending. So I understand what he's saying. I do not agree with it, but I get they're saying, like, this is the 35th anniversary. You celebrate it for the 35th anniversary, and then you don't celebrate it anymore. It's over. So I get it, but counterpoint, you could sell more of everything. So and people want it. So like if somebody buys a Switch next year in April, then they can't get some of this stuff. That seems silly to me. But
maybe this is like one of those like a big band that says it's their last tour. And then everyone goes to see them, and then they end up touring for another 30 years.
Yeah. I think you're exactly right. Like, I think when it comes to Super Mario 3D All-Stars, at some point, we may not see that package available, but they'll sell the games individually on the eShop so you can piecemeal what you want. But I don't think, I'm sure there will be things that disappear forever, like Super Mario Brothers 35. I think that will be gone. But the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection, I think that will show up in some other ways. Vitamin J, I think you're exactly right. Lila Troid says, well, that's understandable. If it's limited time or edition, then it should be like that. Yeah, I'm willing to pay a good price on the stuff, and at least once you own a game, it's permanently yours. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I understand it, and Vitamin G used the perfect analogy, so I think that's what it is. There will be some stuff you won't be able to get, but I wouldn't worry that all of it's going away. Mr. Bowser also talked about what to expect from Nintendo in 2021, the expansion of their IP through things that they haven't done before, like the upcoming Universal theme park, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So check out that interview if you want to hear those details. But really, the Mario talk was the most interesting stuff there. I'm going to need that drum roll again, Mombri.
Whoa.
I fight for my friends.
Oh, all right. What happened there?
As I was flipping the page, I hit it.
Oh, okay. We have an update on Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go is the third highest grossing mobile game of 2020.
That's That's not possible.
It is possible. Lots of people think Pokemon Go is dead, and as I repeatedly say, it couldn't be any further from the truth. And here's
The game is fun.
Thank you, Reggie. Here's the proof of that. We have the data for Pokemon Go as far as this year, from the beginning of this year to December 15th, 2020. The information shows that it was the third biggest title of the year, and it made over $1.2 billion. We are talking about worldwide sales. It is number 3 worldwide. Here's another interesting detail. You think Pokemon Go was huge when it first launched? 2020 has been Pokemon Go's biggest year, beating every other year. Beep, beep. The game is doing amazing, and it saw a 31% increase over 2019, which also set a record back in 2019, but now that record has been broken again. And this is even more impressive because Pokemon Go is about playing on the go. You go out and get Pokemon. But as soon as the pandemic started to rear its ugly head, Niantic went out of their way to change how the game was played, to allow people to play from home and do things that they aren't normally able to do from the comfort of their home, or at least walking around just in their own yard. So they made a big shift to make it possible for people to play safely, and it's really paid off for them. And they're still using some of those safety guidelines right now. They just canceled an event the other day because they don't feel it's safe to do it as they would normally do it. So they're shifting things to online and offering unique opportunities. So Pokemon Go is absolutely massive, and it's literally only getting bigger. We see it happen every year. Philo says the game to go outside has its best year in a year. No one can go outside. That is correct. Yeah. Like I said, they were quick to act on that stuff. Because they had to, otherwise they'd be screwed. But B, because it was important to do it as well. They want to keep players safe, but yeah, they need to protect their business model too. So they made shifts that kept people safe, that kept the money coming in, and let people play from home. So they've clearly said some of those features are going to be retained even when the pandemic isn't a thing anymore, because people enjoy them so much. So they said, we're going to go back to having big events, and you're going to go back to going out and wandering around neighborhoods or playing, wherever you go. But we're also going to keep some of the things that you guys really like from when this was going on. So it's been a blessing in disguise. We don't need to do that. We're going to this. North America, what do we get this week? I'll tell you. We got Override 2 Super Mech League. We also got 60 Seconds Remastered, Abyss of the Sacrifice, Among Us, Arcade Archives Markham, Body of Evidence, Calico, Collection of Saga, Final Fantasy Legend. Kirby, don't you have a story, or maybe it's your brother, about playing Final Fantasy on the Game Boy and not knowing what the hell it was or how to play it?
That sounds like I think that was the first Final Fantasy game I played.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Was on the Game Boy.
Yeah, Final Fantasy Legend. Yeah, I thought you had that story because you and I had a similar story.
It was the first Final Fantasy game I ever played, and probably the first RPG I ever played. And
that's the story. Yeah, I remember it now.
Yeah, I had no idea what was happening, but I remember I got to play as a robot who had human parents, which was funny. Was it you or your brother who asked like your mom what RPG meant, and they were like, "Wow, I don't know what the hell does that mean?" I don't think that was me.
It must have been your brother.
Probably.
Because I had a cousin who. What was that, Josh?
I'm the star of the show.
because Kirby was talking about robots.
Oh, robots! I get it. My cousin got Final Fantasy Legend for the Game Boy, and he didn't know A, that it was an RPG, B, what an RPG was. I didn't know that either. And I went to visit him, and he was like, "Can you figure out how to play this game?" And I went to play it, and like I go to the first fight, and there's like menus, and I'm like, "You fight with words? What is this?" And I was like, "I don't know I couldn't do it. I didn't understand it at all." I was like, "There's nobody to jump on. I don't understand what you're doing here." But yes, they are celebrating the anniversary of those 3 titles, Final Fantasy Legend, or a Collection of Saga, because those are Saga games in Japan. but were renamed Final Fantasy Legend here. So you can get 3 of those Game Boy classics on your Switch in one package from Square Enix for just $20. If you like boobs, you should check out Crawlco Block Knockers. It's literally a game where you uncover lewd pictures of women.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, Josh!
Wait, what's the title?
The title, once again, is Crawlco Block Knockers.
Why? So why did they go with the Crawlco Dobon Hankaro knockers?
That's the sequel, Kirby. We have to get there. Okay. Josh, that hell yeah was perfect, man. We also have
I'm the star of the show.
You are, my friend.
I am the world's best singer.
All right. Oh, wait.
My name's Josh Robot, and I'm
No,
here to
stop
say,
that. Josh, don't stop. I forgot. We'll give you your moment in the sun. Josh, please. Josh, I promise we will give you your moment in the sun right after this. I can't believe I forgot. We have
Moving on.
Arcana, the Carnival, Defentron, Football Manager 2021 Touch. For those who are in America, football means soccer here. We also have the greatly named Freddy Spaghetti, Gems of Magic, Lost Family, Grindstone, Isolation Story, Killer Chambers, Landflix Odyssey, Mercenaries Blaze, Dawn of the Twin Dragons, Outbreak Lost Hope, Secrets of Magic 2, Witches and Wizards, Shady Part of Me, Shikaku Shapes, I don't know what that means, Smart Moves, Space Invaders Forever, Super Meat Boy Forever, Toho Luna Knights, Traditional Tactics NE+, Traffics, Turrican Flashback, Unto the End, When the Past Was Around, and the great Yum Yum line. I don't know what that is. There's also a brand new demo for Bravely Default 2. This is the final demo being released for the game before the game launches next year. There's your North American releases. First comment comes from Shillelagh, and they say the Switch has so much success, and yet it only has one retail release this week. I suspect Among Us will do well, especially with its cheap price. Oh, it did well, my friend. You are correct. Someone want to say something?
Do you think Toho is another word for someone with the foot fetish?
Oh, now I'll have to get the game and find out. I'm a real Toho. Yeah, I'm a real Toho. All right.
I'm tired of this debate between toes and feet. Either get both or get moving.
Oh, it's funny. I heard something very similar to that.
You heard that. It's right. You heard that this morning. Mm-hmm. All right. I cannot believe I forgot this. Josh told me he's been working very hard on his music career. And we know Josh has a wonderful singing voice. He's performed tunes for us before. But Josh is now parlaying his career into rap. And he's got a little rap for us. So Josh, the floor is yours, my friend.
I'm here to grace you with my presence. My name's Josh Robot, and I'm here to say I'm the best on this podcast, far and away. I'm so great. And you guys suck. If you don't like that, I don't give a darn.
Thank
I'm
you,
the
Josh.
star of the show.
Josh, that was excellent. I think he's going to...
That's what I sound like.
That is what
Yeah, I believe that's what they call flow in the industry.
He's got a great flow. It was obviously a diss track against us, which tracks for Josh. So, I mean, it's a great start. A great start to his rap career.
His hustle was good too. Hustle and flow were both good.
Well, Josh, the praise is coming from all directions. How do you feel about that, my friend?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, Europe. What do we got? I'll be handling Europe because Nikki Hill isn't here, but I will try to read it as Nikki Hill would. So get ready for agony. We have 60 seconds reatomized Among Us, Body of Evidence, Boot Hill Heroes. Oh, I got to think of like a bad pun for one of these two. Coleco, Cave Digger.
You also need to mispronounce them.
Yes, I am doing that. Chill Panda, Collection of Saga, Final Fantasy Legend, Crawlco Block Knockers, Dark Arcana, The Carnival, Dark Grim Mariopolis, Defentron, Dicey Dungeons, Doggone Golfing. I feel like he would really like that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Freddy Spaghetti, Gems of Magic, Lost Family, Grindstone, Jigsaw Fun, Piece It Together. Oh boy. Cole's Treasure, Killer Chambers, Mercenary Blaze, Dawn of the Twin Dragons, Outbreak, Lost Hope, Shakes on a Plane, Synthetic, Ultimate, Traditional Tactics, NE+, Unto the End, When the Past Was, A Round, and Yum Yum Line. There's also demos for Diamond Girl, Traditional Tactics, NE+, and When the Past Was Around. There's your European releases. Shillelagh says, while it may be massive, there's no retail releases, and I think there's only one third-party game, Collection of Saga, Final Fantasy Legend, which are very old games. And apart from Among Us, I haven't heard of any of the others. Shillelagh is turning into our new physical release guy. I'll take that drum roll again, Mom Brain.
Jeez Louise.
There's a lot of big topics. I'm sorry.
Just get your own.
Nintendo stock has hit its highest level since December 2007. Sorry, Alucard, didn't mean to talk over you. We are now officially in Wii success territory for Nintendo. Iwata, before he passed away, talked about how he hoped Nintendo could return to its Wii-like profits, and it's been there for a couple months already, but now it's even better because back in December 2007, the Wii was, a year old, and the DS was a few years old, and Nintendo was riding high, and now the Switch has managed to push Nintendo past that mark. It rose shares rose 6.6% this past week, making for the highest level since December 2007. A monumental achievement for Nintendo. The Pandalorian says, man, Nintendo can't even fail correctly. Doomed. That's right. As we know, Nintendo's always doomed. In news that Dew Michaels really appreciates, but will never play, Sephiroth has joined Smash Bros. Ultimate this week. Dew, you know I'm a fan of Final Fantasy VII. I greatly appreciate Sephiroth. There have been a lot of reveal trailers for new characters in Smash Bros. For DLC. Sephiroth is the latest. That reveal trailer is almost my favorite DLC reveal trailer for Smash Bros. The only one for me that is better is Banjo-Kazooie, and that's just because of my love of Banjo-Kazooie. But the trailer for Sephiroth's arrival is fantastic. It's so good. There's a compilation of people's reactions online to Sephiroth's reveal for the game. Because as you know, when it comes to Smash Brothers DLC characters, they don't tell you who they're going to reveal. They start a trailer and you sit there in anticipation and wait to see who shows up. And it was Sephiroth this time. How do you feel about Sephiroth's arrival in Smash Brothers, Dew?
I didn't see the trailer. I just saw the screenshots that you sent me, but they all looked great. I mean,
I have to show you. Yeah, I have to show you the trailer because it's so good. So the trailer is a whole bunch of people or a whole bunch of fighters on the roster are looking towards the sky because there's a whole bunch of master hands floating up there. And then the other thing, I forget what the name of the thing is that's up there in the sky. And everybody knows something's going down. And that big thing in the sky gets sliced in half out of nowhere. And all the fighters are like shocked. And they're all just staring in the sky, waiting to see what happens. And right as the thing gets split in half, they start playing One Winged Angel. And you see like a little tiny speck in the sky. And it goes back to Cloud because Cloud is a fighter in Smash Brothers. And Cloud's like, Sephiroth? And then it zooms up in the sky and Sephiroth starts, he basically says like, I'm here to kill you all and goes nuts. It's such a good trailer. It's amazing. That's what it was like. That's exactly what it's like. It's just so crazy because it's such an epic trailer, and the two of them get into a fight later on in the trailer. But it's great because it's so serious of a trailer, but like you're seeing the reaction of the other fighters in the trailer. So it's Cloud hanging out, but then like Banjo-Kazooie and Sonic are watching Sephiroth fly in. It's just so weird because it's so many characters from all over the place. And also in the trailer, you think that Sephiroth kills Mario. There's a scene that's ripped from, I believe, Advent Children, where Sephiroth, like, it's a silhouette of Sephiroth stabbing someone. And they redo that scene in this trailer, although it looks like Mario has been killed. It looks like Sephiroth's sword is going right through him. But then they cut to a different scene, and you see like he picked up Mario with his sword by slipping it through like one of the straps of his overalls. It's a great trailer. It is a fantastic trailer, one of my favorites. And it might have a lot to do with the music too, because Final Fantasy VII's music is great. So hearing One Wing Angel come on, just that's the start of that song, just going like boom, bah, boom, boom. Oh, it's so good. So good. Great trailer. That's it.
Yeah, that's one of the best. I also like the screenshot you sent me of Kirby with the Sephiroth locks, because I guess he ate Sephiroth. That's so good.
That's the thing that's the other thing people really look forward to with the new Smash Brothers character reveal, because whenever somebody new shows up, that means there's also a new Kirby transformation, and you don't know, it's going to be some elements of Sephiroth, you just don't know what. So he's got the sword and he's got the hair. Hammer Galade Bro says, is this early access a first for Nintendo? They did announce that they have a Sephiroth challenge. So if you want Sephiroth in Smash Brothers, you have to buy Fighters Pass Volume 2, which gets you all the DLC characters for Volume 2, or you can buy Challenger Pack 8. You can just buy Sephiroth by himself. And if you buy either of those things, Sephiroth will launch on December 22nd, or you can take the Sephiroth challenge right now, which is in-game, and it lets you fight Sephiroth. And if you manage to beat him, then you unlock Sephiroth early. So right now, you could be playing a Sephiroth. You don't have to wait until December 22nd. And it's early access for those who pony up the cash for the DLC, which is pretty cool. Usually you pay for the pass and you have to wait until the launch date, but he's out right now if you manage to beat him. And there's different difficulty levels too. You can do easy, normal, super hard, or something like that. So whatever challenge you're up for, Sephiroth is there waiting for you. So Sephiroth's really getting some special treatment for his arrival.
As he should.
Yeah, definitely. He's joining the game with 9 more tracks from Final Fantasy VII. He's what's the name of the place where you fight Sephiroth? Is it the Crater?
Crater.
Yeah.
Crater. Yeah.
That he brings the Crater stage with him. Obviously he has his own final smash, but also you get there will be the Mii Fighter costumes as well. There's a Mii Fighter costume for Barrett, Tifa, Aerith, and then they Chocobo. There's a Chocobo costume, and then they also threw in Gino from Super Mario RPG. So that's your new Mii Fighter costume. So those will come. Those aren't coming until December 22nd, no matter what. You can just get early access to Sephiroth if you manage to beat him. Was there something you're going to say, Do?
I was just going to say that's a game or a franchise that I've tried to play many times over the years. I've even owned Melee on the GameCube and played a bunch of it. And I think I might have played almost every version of the game, and I just cannot get into it. I don't like the gameplay. I don't like the controls. I'm very bad. It hurts my hands to play the game. It's very twitchy.
It's very twitchy, yeah.
I recognize that a lot of people love it. It's popular, and that it's got such a great cast that's ever growing and ever expanding. So I respect all that. I'm sad that it's something that it's just a Do Michaels thing. I just won't ever play it.
Yeah.
I do have a very fond memory of watching Do Michaels play one of the Smash Brothers games. It might have been on the Wii, maybe. I forget which one. But anyway, I think you were playing as Solid Snake, and then Gray Fox appeared as like maybe I don't know, an assist trophy or something.
Yeah, probably.
And I think he was like attacking you, and you were all like, "Gray Fox, it wasn't me, it was the government." And it made me crack up so hard.
That does sound like something you would say. Metal Curdle.
Gray Fox.
Give me that cake. Smash Brothers, even if you don't play Smash Brothers, it's something that we don't see anywhere else in the industry. It is a fighting game that brings together characters from across all different companies. It's crazy. Like I said, you have all Nintendo's characters, then you have Sonic, and you have Sephiroth, and you have Banjo-Kazooie, and you have what's his name? God damn it, I can't remember his name. The guy from Fatal Fury, and you just have characters from all over the place that are
Falcon Punch.
No, you have Captain Falcon, of course. And there's more to come. There's more DLC characters to come. There was a Super Nintendo World Direct this week, which was a 15-minute presentation where Nintendo showcased Super Nintendo World in Universal Studios Japan. So you got a tour of some of that park. They showed off just the outside of the park. They showed off the power-up bands and how they interact with the park. So you punch question mark blocks and you get things on an app on your phone. They showed a whole underground section where you walk through a Mario underground level, and there's bombs and Goombas and question mark blocks and all kinds of stuff. And they built it so that the first part you're Super Mario and the second part you're normal sized Mario, which it transitions as you walk through and everything becomes bigger and you shrink. It's really cool through force perspective and other things like that. They showed off a little of the Mario Kart ride. They also showed that Miyamoto arrives out of a pipe at the beginning of the park and then announces himself as Mario's dad. So
It's so awesome. I watched it.
Great.
I had to text you, RMC. If you're ever having a bad day, just look up anything with Miyamoto in it.
It's so great. It's funny you say that because my sister texted me this morning as well. I didn't even know she knew that was a thing, but she texted me and she's like, I watched that Super Nintendo World thing this morning and it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. It's pure fun and joy. It's great. It's so great. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like walking through that park. It's such a, you can tell in the video that Miyamoto is like, this is real. Like my creation is real. Like you can tell that he's like, wow, this is really a thing. It's just very cool to see. Yeah. His energy and excitement is contagious in the video. It's really awesome.
It's something to see. I don't normally like stuff like that. I think is better, obviously, to just experience when you go there, rather than get a tour like that and then you kind of know what to expect. But I couldn't help myself. I had to watch it. But it's worth seeing just how interesting looking some of the stuff. Like it looks like a video game, but it's real life. Like I don't know how they made real things look digital. Like because I was like, is that a video screen? And like you could see as you got closer that it was all real. And it was just incredible.
Yeah, there's a ton of practical stuff there. Yeah, like actual real items. It's I love the eating area that they show, the restaurant where like you have the stuff that's built to look like it's straight out of a Mario game with all the power-ups and everything. And then you have the Toads who are the chefs in the place and they have virtual windows to show you the Toads cooking your food while you're there, but there's screens. But they have animations of the chefs making your food. It's so crazy. It looks so cool. I wish Nikki Hill was here to talk about it.
And I love how Miyamoto, when he's talking about it, is like, and here you can see the cooks in the kitchen. Like,
Nikki Hill is such a big fan of theme parks, and he loves that, like just the experience of going to them and feeling those things in real life. And he's probably more hyped for Super Nintendo World than I am, just because of his general excitement for theme parks. I wish he was here to talk about it. It looks,
and by general
amazing.
Excitement you mean erection.
Boners, yes, definitely boners. So yeah, that looks awesome. It's 15 minutes. Watch the video. It's really cool.
I also liked when he was he's walking around eating popcorn and it's like pineapple. First of all, it's pineapple flavored popcorn. So right, Japanese, and that was probably like the normal flavor. But like he's talking in Japanese and it's being translated and it's just like, it's like, I know it's a little rude to walk around in public eating, and I'm thinking to myself, come on, man, in America, we'll take a crap right in front.
That's like why you go to a theme park so you can walk around and eat.
It was very obvious like that's a Japanese thing. When he said that, I was like, oh, it's the complete opposite. But that is a thing in Japan, definitely. But I like how he's like, but it's a theme park. It's okay. So yeah, watch that video if you haven't. We're gonna jump to our last top story of the day, which is related to Pokemon trading cards. As you might know, the Pokemon trading card scene has always been popular, and the Pokemon trading card game has been popular for 20 years now. But collectors for these cards are having the time of their lives right now, because those cards always, classic cards, depending on the shape that they're in, always bring in a ton of money. But this time around, the scene is really blowing up, and some big players are getting in on the game, and the cards' values are rising. And this will give you a good idea of just how valuable some cards are. One of the rarest, I think it's the rarest card, really. It's called a Pikachu Illustrator card. There were very few made. So the ones that are out there are highly sought after, especially if they're in mint condition. And there was one in mint condition. And these two big Pokemon trading card game traders made a deal with each other. And the card was exchanged. So one guy got the Illustrator card, and in exchange he gave the other guy 9 original Charizard cards and 3 private drawings by Mitsuhiro Arita, who is the guy who draws art for a lot of Pokemon cards. These 9 cards and 3 private drawings were enough to match the value of the Pikachu Illustrator card. This lot is valued at $900,000. So 9 Charizard cards and the 3 private drawings equals 1 Pikachu Illustrator card.
For $1.
No, not for $1. Please don't go through 900,000 of those, Mombre. Wow. So yeah, $900,000. That makes this the biggest Pokemon card exchange to date. We've seen recently that a lot of other cards that are very rare have sold for a lot of money, but they're not anywhere near as rare as this card. I believe the most recent card at auction that was rare, but not on this level, brought in $340,000, and that's just a single card. But this shows you just how much more rare and valuable the Pikachu Illustrator card is. But if you have original cards that are even in decent shape, you don't have to have mint. Mint will obviously get you a lot of money. But if you have original cards that are in good shape, depending on what Pokemon they are, you can make tens of thousands of dollars off those cards right now. So the Pokemon card scene is blowing up. And if you have some, see what they're worth. Get them officially graded, and you could make some bank off of them. All right, that's our top stories. There's a lot.
There were a lot of top stories.
I want to make sure everybody gets to talk about what they played, but myself included, let's try and keep it concise. Mom Brain, you didn't play anything.
No.
Right?
I can't think of anything.
Okay, Kirby, what have you been playing? Kirby? Oh, there it is.
Sorry, I was actually just eating popcorn appropriately enough. I basically I've been playing like 2 games over the past week or two. The first one is Control.
Ooh.
Well, I mean I've been talking about it for a while now. I've made a decent amount of progress over the past couple of days, but I have to say I think my experience playing it has soured just a little bit, just because, and this is something I brought up a week or two ago, because basically, well, for me anyway, so far the entire game has taken place in this like giant government office building, which it's I don't know, it's just not like a very exciting environment to explore.
Beep beep. Kirby, it's 2020. We live in offices. That's the way it has to be. Our games are in offices. You work in office. Has to be all gray office locations.
But there's quarantine, so we're basically living at home though.
I wanna explore outside.
Yeah, well, that's a good. You make a good point. Actually, I feel like if even portions of the game took place like outdoors, it might be more exciting for me.
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's not a fun environment to explore. I'm just going through like, I'm going through like people's offices and these like, sterile laboratory settings and stuff. And I don't feel ashamed to say I use fast travel, as often as possible in this game.
Kyle in the chat says he's been playing Control, and he says there's some really cool moments because the office is trans-dimensional and transforms. I do get what you're saying, Kirby. I do get that. I don't personally agree with it because there's something in me that makes me I like when a particular location is like greatly exploited, and there's something about Control that I just like that setting, but I completely understand what you're saying. Yes. It's not like a hugely varied environment.
Yeah. And I mean, it's because the building, it gets like all crazy and warped at times. I wish it did that more often. That would probably make it more interesting. But what was my other point? Oh, yeah. My other point is I've been getting killed so many times in this game.
Yeah, it's tough.
So, okay, well, has it been tough for you too, or is it just me?
I have died multiple times. Yes, I do die a lot.
All right, well, that makes me feel a little bit better. My problem is I'm like I constantly get like hit off, but sorry. I get hit by projectiles from enemies that are off screen.
Are they like paper airplanes?
No,
TPS reports.
No, they hit me with like pieces of like jagged rock and garbage and stuff.
Yeah, you have to do a lot of hiding and dodging, but it gets frantic. Yes, you are not alone in that, Kirby.
Yes,
I got hit a lot.
And I've been doing like as much dodging as possible. Like, the game tells you like you need to be like constantly moving, which I've been doing. But the thing is, like, these environments, they're so like full of like junk and stuff.
That is true. You'll do moves and like throw, like multiple desks will go flying through the air and papers go shooting up. And I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like you either need to be concentrating on the opponents that are like, trying to, throw projectiles at you, or you're concentrating on like where you're going.
To tell you the truth, this is how I think of it, and it's helped me play because I usually play shooter games like that in a precision mindset where I'm going for headshots and trying to stay hidden. But I've taken a more Gears of War approach to it where I'm just like hide for a little bit and then go out and just shoot as much at the enemy, no matter where I hit them. I'm like, just unload and move around as much as possible and then hide for a little bit to reload.
Yes, I'm planning to take a real precision mindset here in this game. If y'all know,
I am a hardcore gamer. Thank you.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I'll be like, trying to, I'll be like trying to move around as much as possible and like dodge everything, and then I'll just like fall off of a platform or something because I'm not looking at where I'm going.
Yeah, Langwin says he upgraded the launch power and he just hides, launches, and repeats. So maybe that can help you.
Trust me, I launch as much as I possibly can until like my energy is completely gone.
Well, now, like I said, don't feel bad. You are not going through an experience that is unusual. I believe that's what people deal with. But you can turn down the difficulty, right?
But I'm playing on normal. Like, I can't do that.
I'm no Nicky Hill, damn it.
I'd never be able to live that down.
Kirby, we would never do that to you. We only do it to Nicky Hill. You're fine.
Yeah, and I don't know how far I am in the game exactly. I'll just say this. I just turned off the projector for, whatever that means to whoever.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know. Hopefully it'll get easier. I do have to say it's a lot of fun once you like learn how to levitate and like do the shield, and possess people. That stuff's all great, but it just gets frustrating occasionally.
Well, I appreciate your frustration, and I'm glad you're sticking with it, though.
Well, I appreciate you telling me that you appreciate what I'm going through.
And I appreciate you saying that.
Well, I appreciate that as well. Anyway, the other game I've been playing is Spider-Man. This is the Spider-Man game from 2018, which I had beaten completely last year. But then I got all the DLC missions. I had beaten most of them. I just recently, over the past couple of weeks, completed all of those. So I've beaten the game completely, and then I started a new game plus for some reason.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
It's a fun one, man.
What's that?
It's a fun one.
It is. But I don't know why I started a new game plus.
Hey, man, you're talking to the king of replaying games. I want to give you a hug right now.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I after Deux talked it up so much, I wanted to play Miles Morales on the PS4, but and I wanted to put it on my Christmas list, but apparently
I've been a bad boy.
But all the physical copies of the PS4 version are completely sold out until January.
Oh.
So yeah, I was stuck just replaying Spider-Man again. One thing I wanted to mention. So yeah, this game has been out since 2018. I beat it last year, but for some reason, in just the past couple of weeks, when I've been playing it, it's been playing like garbage. It's like it like randomly freezes up. The load times are like 3 times as long. The cutscenes don't play properly. I never had this problem before, and I don't know why it's happening now. It's very strange.
Sony wants you to get that PS5. They're slowing that PS4 down.
That's probably what. Yeah, they're probably trying to push the PS5 by doing this to me.
That's it.
So yeah, I just wanted to mention that, and also I'm still mad at the fact that I've unlocked all of the Spider-Man suits. There is no symbiote suit. This blows my mind. I cannot get over this.
I haven't played Miles Morales, so I don't know if there's one in there.
Symbiote suit? That sounds kinky.
I'm sorry. I meant the Venom, the black and white suit. It's literally the most famous alternate Spider-Man suit, and it's not in the game, and it makes me crazy.
Well, it can be yours next year for the low price of $30 DLC.
Well, that's the thing. If they offered it as DLC, I would totally get it, but they haven't done it. There's
for $1.
Literally every alternate timeline suit and spin-off suit that's ever existed except that one, and I don't understand why.
Well, go on the internet like everybody else
and
does.
Say,
"May the rats eat your eyes!"
Yeah, send a mean tweet to all the companies involved, and then I'm sure they'll do it.
No, that's not my thing. I don't send death threats to game companies.
Well, you're in the minority, apparently.
Apparently.
All right.
Anyway, that's what I played.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Kirby. Vitamin G, what have you been playing?
A lot of Fortnite.
As we all have.
And some PGA golf.
Oh, how's that going?
I'm enjoying it. I've been it's funny because if you don't alter the difficulty settings, you end up shooting 18 under par every round. So it's fun. It's been interesting to change the difficulty settings and how many putts you can read and stuff like that, and see how good I actually am at the game.
Are you playing a career with your own character, or did you pick a professional golfer?
I didn't know you could pick a professional golfer, so I made.
Maybe you can. I mean, I made one too, so I don't know. Maybe you're not able. Yeah, maybe you can't play a career as a pro golfer, but you can do other modes as a pro golfer.
The only mode I've tried really is the career mode.
Yeah, that's what I've been playing. So,
but no, it's fun. The game mechanics are really smooth and great. I turned off the cutaways because they started to drive me insane.
Yeah. I got to put in some more time with it. I haven't played in a while, but we should get online and play that once I get back into, pardon the pun, the swing of things. But
we should hit the links.
Yeah.
it's funny too, because like changing the difficulty settings is a lot like real golf, where like you finish a hole and you're like, well, you know, like I took 2 tee shots because my first one flew into the woods, so we'll just pretend that one didn't happen. And so you end up with like a score that's probably very different from what your actual score is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm trying to like be honest, but it's hard when like you can just very easily do a lot better.
Yeah, there are times where I'll play through career and I'm like doing great, and then just out of nowhere I'll have a horrible mistake that throws everything off, and I'm like, oh God, do I want to restart this whole thing because this one shot was so bad? I'm like, well, if I think of it like this, so I know what you mean. I'm doing the same thing, but it's good. Yeah, I definitely agree. It's a lot of fun.
Vitamin, have you played? Did you play the Tiger Woods game that was on the Wii?
Maybe. I think I only played that at Raw Meat's house.
It was a good one.
Okay,
but I never owned it.
Now this one doesn't have the motion controls, right?
It does not. No, which I wish that was an option. It doesn't need to be the only option, but I wish that was in there as an option. Yeah. Tiger Woods went all out. Like you could play motion controlled golf, but you could also use the Wii balance board too for like even to read your feet when you were swinging.
Oh, I think we all know that Tiger Woods went all out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no protection.
There it is. Thank you. Is that it, Vitamin G?
That's it.
Deux, what have you been playing? Well, I mean, I know you've been playing Cyberpunk, but I think we've talked Cyberpunk.
Well, yeah,
you can talk about it a little bit, but I feel like we've talked
I'll talk about it very, very briefly. Just a couple of things I want to make, points I want to make. But yeah, luckily because of Cyberpunk, I won't be talking very long about what I've played. But yeah, so we'll start with Cyberpunk real quick. I've been playing it quite a bit. The one just comment I'm going to make, because we talked to death earlier in the show, is it's amazing how much time they put into certain aspects of the game only to screw up like a lot of quality of life things or something like that. Like I've got a couple of examples. Like you can they pay attention to like your pants. Like when you're walking, you can hear your pants rubbing together, and there's I swear the sound changes depending on the pants that you're wearing. So that's like cute. Like it's like a crazy detail, or something like a bag of garbage, because there's a lot of garbage in the game, like literally and figuratively. But so like a bag of garbage will be made up of like things within the world, like little cups and bottles or stuff that you get. Like it's like the amount of detail in the garbage, and then you try to like talk to a guy, and like gang members are shooting you while the guy's just leaning up against a car. Like, yeah, you ready to do this mission with me? It's like, I'm getting shot right now. Like,
I am not ready.
Yeah, like stuff like that, or the time that I tried to like change. I picked up some new pants, like just off of the street or whatever. So I was like, oh, let me try these pants on. And it wouldn't let me try the pants on. I couldn't change any of my clothes. So then I was like, well, maybe I have to unequip the pants that I have on and equip new pants. So I unequipped the pants that I had on, and my junk is just hanging out on the street, and it wouldn't let me put pants on. So I had to reload a game because first of all, my character kind of looks like Steve Harvey on purpose. And so like I'm walking around with like a Steve Harvey just like out and about. And like I know that's how he is in his living room, but like on the streets, probably not.
Well, is that what's making the noise with your pants? Because your dong's hanging out?
You know what? Yeah, he slings dong at home, but not out and about, yeah.
Maybe. There is a little like accessory you can get where you put like the little jingle bell on the end of your you know what. So maybe that was it.
Your nose, right?
Yeah. But I'm just kidding about the jingle bell. Hopefully, future DLCs will put that in there. But,
that's in the next patch they're putting out. Yeah.
I did hear that development team has the best garbage developers in the industry.
That's right. They have a 150 member strong garbage team over there.
Bro, it's all garbage all the time.
Sir, the garbage is done. We are ready to make more garbage.
It's hilarious. Like, you have to laugh or you'll cry, basically. but you know, I'm gonna keep playing the game. You know, I admit a lot of embarrassing things here on the podcast, and this I think is another one. I'm too lazy because I ordered a physical copy off of Amazon. I'm too lazy to send it back because I can send it back by January 31st and get a refund. If I went digital like I usually do these days, I would definitely have refunded it, and I would have waited even after all the time I spent into it. But I just don't want to go and, you know, go through the rigmarole of sending it back to Amazon. So I'm giving the company a pass, and I'm part of the problem. So I hate to admit it, but I'm honest with you guys, and that's all I'm going to say.
Honesty is what matters.
So I'm still playing that. We played, of course, some Fortnite pretty much every night. We told Kirby, I don't know, 2 weeks ago that every night we play and you don't need an invitation, and we still haven't seen him since that first night. But
oh yeah, well the thing is, I've been playing like Control and Spider-Man so much, and like by the time I'm done,
we heard.
Yeah, well, but then like, you know, once I like quit the games, I'll see that you guys are on, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I wasn't so exhausted.
Not for me.
I'm only teasing you because we like having you on there. In fact, last night, Raw Meat and I were in like a gas station. This is in the game. We were like in a gas station, and it was like we were like the last two guys left, and like people were like closing in on the gas station, and like I think Raw Meat then got down, but like all of a sudden through the doorway comes the sock puppet monkey that you are, and we were like, we were just like, take that, Kirby.
Yeah, I believe I shot him in the face once before I died, and I said, take that, Kirby.
Oh, man,
so clearly, Kirby, the love is there for you.
I wish I was the only one with the sock monkey suit. Yeah, I completely forgot to mention that. Yeah, I had played Fortnite. Well, I mean, it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to, join you guys again.
Well, we're ready for you.
Like I said, I'm only teasing. Anytime, like literally any night you pop on there after 9 Eastern, you'll find us. So
it's true.
And then one other thing I just wanted to mention about Fortnite is they had the Blood Gulch from Halo kind of update that we played a couple of times. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty true to form. I would say it felt almost just like you were playing the old Halo map. And we had a little bit of fun with that. To be honest, the matchmaking was frustrating and we didn't play as much as we could have. But it was nice to see that there.
Yeah, it's handled through community stuff, so it's not as streamlined as the main game, but yeah, it was still nice to jump in and just get that feeling.
Not as streamlined as the main vein.
That's right. Epic focuses a lot on the main vein, so.
It made me really want, to play Halo, and it kind of like got me thinking like, oh man, I got this PlayStation 5, I'll never play Halo ever again, but.
Well, you could always go with the Xbox Series S because that's the much cheaper one. That's $300, or you could play on the computer.
Yeah, $300 plus to play Halo. That's worth.
Well, that's why you could go computer and get Game Pass and pay $60 a year and play Halo 1, 2, 3, 4, the new one, all that.
Get off your couch and take that Cyberpunk back, and there's your $60.
Oh! Grimbles coming in hot.
Man, I deserve that. I deserve
the Grimbles takedown for the day.
Do are you done?
I actually have one more game that I feel like I have to talk about, even though I don't want to. So can I? And this doesn't even. I'm going to look so bad here to the gaming community, but Mom Brain, can I get a drum roll, please?
Of course you can.
Anastasia Beaver hasn't guessed Honey Pop.
I beat Undertale.
Hey!
This was a couple of weeks ago. I've had some time to process it. Raw Meat knows that I had a little bit of a mental breakdown.
Now, I wouldn't say a little bit.
Yeah, it was a huge mental breakdown. Like, it threw me off for the entire day. I have to say, and I know this game is critically acclaimed. It's tens. Everyone loves it. I'm the only person in the world who does not like this game, and I don't know what I did wrong. It left me feeling stupid, and I told RMC this, and he's laughing because he thinks it's so funny.
Well, basically, the thing is, you had the experience with the game that everybody has. It makes you think and feel things, and there's things you don't understand, and that's what everybody is intrigued by with the game, but it just made you angry.
Yeah, because it looks like somebody smeared poop on the screen, right?
Well, that was me. You know, I put up my defenses when there's a game that I'm unfamiliar with or I have to play. You know, like, I put up those defenses, and I was being unfair to the graphics of the game. It's not about the graphics. The story is good. The dialogue is hilarious. Like, there's a lot of things where you're reading it and you laugh out loud. Like, it doesn't feel the comedy is not lost on me. But when you go through all of this, and RMC was trying to explain this to me, like, it's not about black and white, good and bad. Your decisions, even though you tried to be good, didn't give you the results that you wanted. And I feel like I could live with all of that, but the game just made me feel like I was stupid. And I don't know how else to explain it, because I did, again, I'm talking in circles, but I did everything right. Like, I talked to everyone. I was so nice to people. I went on a date with a skeleton, for God's sake, and he rejected me.
See, this is what I'm talking about. The fact that you're still saying I did everything right is showing that you're thinking of it in two black and white terms. It's not a checklist of I did everything right or wrong, because it's not like I did this, so this good thing will happen. That's not how it works. There are bigger things like that, but then there's a whole bunch of other things that aren't just like, oh, you get a positive point or a negative point. It changes little things in the story. It doesn't mean you killed this guy, you're a bad guy, or you went on a date with what's his face and you're a good guy. It changes other things that happen throughout the flow of it. It's not a black or white thing.
Yeah, well, Raw Meat, I never played Undertale, but you and I watched R-Type, my brother.
Yes.
Beat the game, and didn't he like literally do like everything wrong?
He
did he get like the worst ending?
He did. No, he didn't get the worst one possible. But he definitely didn't. But he got one of the badder ones. Yes, based on what he did, because your brother did what he does in typical fashion and doesn't pay attention to much. Aww. But yeah, I'll never forget him. As I said to do, I'll never forget him.
He felt so terrible.
He sat there at the ending, and after it ended, he like had a very interesting stare on his face, and he sat in silence for a little bit, and he was just like, wow, so this means this and that means that. And he's like, man, that's crazy. And he's like, I feel really bad.
We all felt bad.
But yes, seeing his reaction was fantastic. So
I can see where you're coming from, though. Like, just hearing that was R-Type's reaction, it's almost like the game is putting you in a situation to do what Do is suggesting. We're like, if I really knew what this was about, I would have made the right decision, but I don't know.
Well, so
weird.
That's the thing. Yeah, the way you're describing it isn't how it is, though. It's so hard to describe, because the ending Du got was not a bad ending by any means at all. He did not get a bad ending, and neither did R-Type. He didn't get a bad ending either, because there are other things you can do and change that give you a much worse ending, and there's other things you can do and change to get an evil ending. And it's not all about the ending too. It's about the conversations you have as you play. There's just so much to it. Like when I played through the game, I got one of the neutral endings, which was roughly the same as Due's, and it made me realize there were things that I could do that I never even considered the first time. It was just not because I didn't think the game would let me, but it was just stuff I never considered. And I was like, man, I never thought of things that way. And I played through it again and I got a different ending, but whole bunch of other things happened while I played. And I was like, man, this is like a completely different experience. And then you go through it again. And I don't remember how many times I played it, but much changes.
That's another thing, Raw, is you said, you made a good point there. You're like, after you played it again and then again to see what you could change. And I think the game almost is trying to encourage you. I think at the end it's like, play it through again and try to change stuff. So like, it encourages you to play it again, knowing what you know. But I was so disheartened with how my playthrough turned out that I couldn't bring myself to go through it again. I really couldn't. And I know the point is to not to get discouraged and go through it again and see what you can experiment with. I just couldn't do it. I was so depressed that whole day. Seriously, I was like beside myself.
Well, see that what you're saying
was inferior. That I was stupid. That I did something wrong, and that everyone loves this game but me. What am I doing wrong? And that's how I thought of it.
That's the thing. You are experiencing the same things people experience as far as feelings from the game go. I'm not saying like they all felt
supposed to feel miserable, dude.
That's what I'm not saying, that you're supposed to feel bad. I'm just saying you experienced intense feelings, which is what the game is made to do. But the feelings for you were so much more intense that you don't want anything to do with the game again. It's very rare that you get a game that actually makes you feel things, and those feelings stick with you after the game. And that's one of my favorite things about the game. But the feelings were so intensely negative for you that it pushed you away from the game, where for me, they were just so intense overall that I couldn't wait to go in and do it again. And that's when I saw how much is different when you play through it and how much the game is watching you when you play the first time.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I wanted to be very careful with how I talked about this game because I have a tendency to snap in the moment and like come off like an insensitive person, which is how I came off to you, I'm sure, when I was venting to you, RMC. But like, I've had 2 weeks to think about it. I respect the game. I respect everything it's done. And I watched a ton of videos about it afterwards too, because I knew I was never going to play it again. I was like, I got to know what you can do different. And like, all that stuff was really, really impressive, but it wasn't for me. It was not an experience that I enjoyed even afterwards, especially afterwards, I would say. And I just felt inferior. I felt terrible. Like I needed to shrink immediately at that moment because this game brought me to my knees. And like you said, that's what it wants. It wants to elicit this emotional response. And I think that's great. I love games that are like that can get certain responses out of me emotionally. I just didn't expect it to be depression and inferiority, like usually it's like, hey, you did really great, or like, oh man, like that was a bummer, kind of a real crappy ending, but this was like you, Andrew, sorry, I'm just gonna use my real name, you, Andrew, sitting in this chair playing this game are stupid and inferior, and that's how I felt. And I'm sorry, that's just how I felt.
So
leave a good taste.
Wolford Chaser in the chat is saying exactly what I'm thinking. He says, if Undertale gave you any emotional reaction out of it, it succeeded, and it did. It just, for you, it was so intense for me, but it's so intense for you in a completely different. You are having the same feelings everybody had, regardless of the ending that they got. It's just yours are so much stronger, and I think that's great. I know you didn't have a great experience because of it, but to have a game elicit that kind of emotion out of someone is so unbelievably rare. I think that's really interesting.
And that's why, like I said, I want to be careful with how I talk about it. I want there to be developers inspired by this and want to make games similar to this. I don't know. I didn't know how to deal with the feelings I still kind of don't. All I know is that I'm never going to play the game again. And if someone asked me what I personally thought, I would tell them that I personally didn't care for it. But it doesn't mean that it's a bad game. Of course not. And I don't think anyone should not play it just because I didn't like it.
So to wrap things up, I think it shows that like when it comes to eliciting an emotional response, something more in the style of Life is Strange is for you. It handles it differently, and I certainly felt that was an emotional game, but it's much more cut and dry. And it also, like, at the end of each chapter is like, you did this, everybody did this, here's the breakdown, and this is what it means. Like, it's much more, game focused than thought focused. But Life is Strange is fantastic. That's another one I'd recommend everybody. That's very clear cut choices. Every time you make a decision that matters, the game is like, this will be important.
You're making a great point here, because I talk a lot about Life is Strange or Gone Home or Edith Finch or Everyone's Gone to the Rapture or Detroit. These games that I think are like these story-driven emotional experiences where I'm in control. Undertale made all those look like child's play.
Exactly.
I think that's why another reason why I'm so resentful of it, because it made all those games that I really felt like had an emotional impact on me. And it was like, you know what? Those are nothing. Those are just right or wrong, black and white.
Yeah.
You can go through that with your eyes closed, even though it feels emotional at the time. This, you can't make the right decision your first playthrough, even if you wanted to. And that frustrates me.
I think, well, again, like I would argue that the right and wrong decision thing, like is a different way. I don't know if it's the right way to look at it, but I get what you're saying. But yeah, those games, I love those games too. They are great. But I think what it is those games tell you a great story and make you experience emotion, but from a third person perspective. Whereas Undertale, it's like you are going through it and you feel the emotion rather than seeing it through a character.
And then at the end, they tell you you're stupid.
Well, that is not true. They did not do that. And I even rewatched your ending to see exactly what was said, and that's not true. But they
just tell you you're a bad person.
It's a hell of a game, man. It's a hell of a game. I appreciate your stance of saying it wasn't for you, but you respect what it did. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, and to be honest, I want people to try it out. I want people to play it. But if you were to ask me my opinion, I would say I didn't care for it.
Or the problem is there were no rat hats in it, so you didn't like it.
Well, I'm trying to think. No, there weren't any rat hats, but it wouldn't have been out of place. Like
that's true.
It's an interesting game.
That's true. Thank you, Deux. I know we put you through the ringer on that, but on a personal note, thank you very much for playing that game. I know it took a while, and I know you weren't like keen on it, but you did it, and I honestly mean, without getting super sentimental, I super appreciate you playing that game, because it is man, it's unlike anything else I've experienced in video games or really in any other entertainment medium, and I really appreciate that you played it. I'm sorry it wasn't your cup of tea, but like I said, you got out of it what I got out of it. It just pushed you in a different direction. I can't ask for anything else.
Well, I'd do anything for you, Romy.
Yeah, baby. Well, Grimbles, what are you going to do for me?
I was just sitting here thinking how I could possibly follow up that discussion.
Yeah, right. Here's this emotional game, and you're like, I played Fortnite.
Well, what I will say is that I also played a game that affected me as profoundly as what Andrew just discussed, and it was a game called Block Knockers, about uncovering boobies.
The hit of the winter.
No, I didn't play that game. I really do want to play Undertale now after hearing this.
Oh my God.
I feel like I can't wait to see what could have possibly.
You're making my day.
Feel that way.
And it's not a long game. You can finish it in 4 to 6 hours. The first
I was just
playthrough.
looking it up. It said 6 hours or something. So I'm definitely going to do that. But
oh man, I'm so excited.
Yeah, hopefully different ending for me. I haven't been playing a ton other than Fortnite with you guys because, as you know, I started a new job. But I was playing the last. Yeah, thank you. I was playing the last Campfire on Switch.
Oh,
which
yeah.
was fine. I mean, it's I really liked the art style, so that was kind of what drew me to it. And it's it's like a puzzle game, which is fun. I kind of got bored with it after a little while. I'll probably go back to it, but I don't know. I felt like it was just like, all right, I'm just gonna keep doing these puzzles. I don't know. I kind of ran out of steam with it, but and then after you talked up Donkey Kong Country 2 so much, I was playing that, which is fun, and I downloaded Transistor.
Yes.
It was like $3 or something.
Yes.
And I mean, I only played it a little bit. I'm going to go back to it, but I wasn't loving it.
Uh-oh. And that's one that Deux likes too.
I know. I don't know. It's the gameplay. I don't know. I just didn't love the fighting mechanism in it.
It definitely has a unique feel for character movement and fighting. I get what you're saying. Maybe you'll get into that more, but the story too is very interesting as it goes on.
Is that Alec Baldwin narrating? Or
No,
but that's good.
I wish it was, but it's not. No,
really, it's not him.
No, the guy narrating is actually a guy that they have work on all their games. He's amazing. He does a ton of voices in their games, and he sounds so different each time. But I can confirm it is not Alec Baldwin.
Wait, is it the same guy who narrated Bastion?
I believe it is Kirby. Yes.
Okay, because when I was playing Bastion, which I only did for a little while, I thought it was Ron Perlman.
It was not Hellboy. No, I'm sorry.
It's actually Daniel Baldwin.
That's correct. Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh.
As we all know, the best Baldwin. Well, yeah, I'm interested to see how Transistor works out for you if you stick with it.
Yeah, we'll see how much time I have aside from Fortnite with you guys.
Well, so is that it? That's all you played?
Yeah, did you want more?
No, I didn't want to interrupt because I wanted to say something to both you and Vitamin G. First off, Vitamin G, thank you for bringing Grimbles into the group chat because it was a fantastic decision. And Grimbles, I think I speak for Deux and, Deux, because Vitamin G you hang out with all the time. But it's been great having you in Fortnite and playing during the pandemic and just getting to hang out and getting to know you. I cannot explain how many times when I've been playing with you guys, I've been crying from laughing just because we've been having so much fun. So I just want to say it's been great having you in there.
Well, thanks for having me and making me feel welcome.
Well, tonight you're out, but I just wanted to say that.
Whoa, this is how it usually goes.
You're out. Kirby's in. It's
Rami was like, I'm going to invite him on the podcast. And I was like, are you sure? Like, he's going to be out?
Thanks for coming. It's so great. Whammo, you're gone.
That's how it goes.
Wow, public axing, huh?
That's how we
Thank
roll
you.
here.
Well, it all went downhill after that Batman conversation, which we won't bring up on the podcast.
Yeah, please don't.
Giant Reggie
on your boards.
Giant Reggie says, "Good guy Grimbles." That's correct. Good guy Grimbles.
No, really, I think Batman looks better with nipples.
That was the conversation, always about Batman nipples.
That's my hot take.
All right, because the show is so long, I think we're going to cut out questions, and we'll just go. I know people freak out if we go over music. I'm going to talk very quickly about what I played. I played Fortnite. I don't need to talk about that. And I played more Doom Eternal. I don't remember if I talked about it on podcast or not, but I will very quickly say Doom Eternal is the most impressive port on the Switch. I cannot believe how good that game runs, how good it looks, and how steady the frame rate is. It is Panic Button's best port by far. And they have made super impressive ports on the Switch, but holy crap, the extra time they spend on that game really shows. It's unbelievable how good that port is. And I've been playing that game. It was worth the wait. I love it. There is no other game besides Doom 2016 that gives me such a visceral reaction when I'm playing. When you're mowing down waves of enemies, and running around like a madman, and fires shooting at you, and fireballs are being thrown, and lasers are being shot. There's enemies all over the place, and that heavy metal soundtrack is like pumping. It makes you feel like such a badass. I can't explain it. It is so cool. I specifically play that game with headphones just to immerse myself in that more. It's just so much fun.
How does the garbage look, though?
I've been too busy staring at the people impaled on spikes and the giant like monsters with one eyeball that are like trying to eat my face. I will get back to you on garbage. I'll take a look at it next time I play, and I'll give a full report on next week's podcast. After
you kill a demon and it's laying there dead on the ground, does it be like, he's gonna get us, get him? Oh, move in on him.
I can happily say I have experienced no glitches. I haven't had a single glitch yet. And the game does such a good job of making the violence super over the top, so it doesn't feel like, gross or weird. It's just way over the top violent, like Evil Dead kind of violence. And they add in some sound effects that are fantastic because they really like lighten the mood. So anybody that plays Doom is familiar with the Caco demons, the giant guys with one eye that float around, and you can do like a kill on them where you grab onto them, grab their eyeball, and rip it out of their head. But they add in a sound effect that's like a cartoon, like popping noise. So you yank the eyeball out, and it's like, and it's just really fun. It makes it not seem as violent. Yeah, it's not like noises of like blood gushing or entrails falling out or anything like that. It's just, I don't know.
Excuse me, my entrails have fallen out.
Doom Eternal is awesome on the Switch. I haven't played the other versions. I know it looks better on the other versions, and I know it runs 60 frames per second. But the steady 30 frames on Switch, and I'm using motion controls too. It's really good. I loved Doom 2016, and I'm loving Doom Eternal so far. So that's that. All right, we're gonna skip questions. Should we do music? I don't know. We're really late.
You didn't talk about Pixel Junk Eden 2.
Did I? I thought I talked about how I did a review of it. Did I not? I don't remember.
Nope.
I don't want to rush through Pixel Junk. I'm going to save Pixel Junk for next week. Then you can watch my video review if you're interested to know. But yeah, I don't want to. Since we're so late, I don't want to rush through it. This is going to be our long. I'm sorry, the CD Projekt Red stuff was so important to talk about that we had to.
Wait,
but
yeah, what time are we at now?
Let me see.
We're going on 3 hours.
Actually, the podcast 802 is happening in an hour.
We've had somebody has said we've had a 3+ hour show before. I don't remember it, but people have been saying they want longer shows. They're getting it. Lately we've been running late. I think it's just the nature of the setup and all that stuff. I mean, I don't mind it. No, somebody made a really good point to me. They were like, "Hey, do you have favorite podcasts?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And I say, "Do you ever say to yourself, boy, I wish this was shorter?" And I was like, "That's a really good point. No, I don't think that. Any podcast I watch or listen to, I'm always sad when it ends because I want more, because I'm listening while I'm working. And I know people listen when they go to work or while they're at work or whatever. So it's a good point. I don't want to make the show go forever. I like to keep it right around the 2 hour mark, which we haven't been doing lately, but it's a good point. It's a good point. But, the pandemic's going on. We're not seeing people in person. We got a lot to talk about. It's a good time to hang out virtually with my real life friends and my friends on the internet. So it is what it is. Thank you, Aloe Wolf. We love you too. Jesus Christ. Should we do music or not? My brain, I'm leaving it to you.
We're doing music.
All right, let's do music. Let's make it happen.
All right.
Send your music to gnpodcastmusic@gmail.com.
Where?
gnpodcastmusic@gmail.com. We can't do the music section without you guys.
I got music. You want to hear it? You want to hear it?
Oh, what happened?
But,
beep, 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 beep,
but
beep,
you
beep,
said
beep.
but.
Why would you stop it like 75% through? Is that what he sounds like?
It is.
But you guys been doing great with music, so thank you.
This one comes from Anastasia Beaverhausen, who says that he used to speed run this game before speed running was a thing.
Glover.
No.
What system?
DS.
Is it first party?
No.
Didn't sound like it. I don't. Does anybody have any guesses? I don't have anything.
I don't.
Is it a Disney title?
No.
I got nothing.
Bratz Ponies 2.
Is that true?
Yep.
Oh, that's great. That maybe I should play that game. Apparently, I'm missing out.
Yeah,
That's like the most Anastasia Beaverhausen game ever.
Yeah.
Bratz Ponies, something I didn't even know
With a Z.
existed.
Ponies.
Oh, of course, you got to have a Z.
No,
on
but he
it.
plays it with his sister, so that's how he gets around.
I don't think so.
All that stuff.
Wink, wink.
I didn't know they had Ponies versions of Bratz.
Yeah, well, now
I
you
missed
do.
out on something big.
This one comes from Autumnal Blake.
It's gonna be one of those shows, man, or one of those sections. What
Probably
system?
some RPG.
Oh, what an asshole! What an asshole! No! I never saw that coming. You son of a bitch! I don't know what the other game was, but I think we all. Thank you, Kirby. Thank you, Kirby. Watch the set or the horror away. Well, that last part was the Game Boy. Yeah. Thank you. The Game Boy camera. What was the first part?
This part?
Yeah. You're a jerk.
Kirby's Epic Yarn.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Do I get a point for the Game Boy camera?
You sure do.
Okay.
You scaredy cat.
Holy
That was from
crap.
Autumnal Blake.
I can't explain how that song makes my heart feel. I know it is not scary now, but it scared me so much as a kid that I will always get that feeling.
I understand.
It's like when I hear the same phone noise that I used to hear in high school when I was being called for detention. If I hear that phone anywhere now, I get the same feeling. A rush over my body.
Hey, Ramit,
Yes.
let's go on Safari.
I get that
Where
feeling.
everything's okay.
I have been a patient in the same doctor's office my entire 38 years. And there's a specific sound, like the floor is really squeaky. And the sound of the nurse coming down the hall and around the corner into the waiting room to get you gives me a cold sweat. This one comes from Blood Ocean 07.
This is Diddy Kong Racing. I know that.
It is.
I believe this is a favorite of Crazy Colonel.
Well, this one's for you.
For like 0.5 seconds and you got it. Diddy Kong Racing, of course.
I love this song.
All right, that was from Blood Ocean 07, and it was Diddy Kong Racing on the 64. This is a little ditty from Glitter Bubble 3.
This is somewhat familiar.
Oh, Rex says that Game Boy camera is a tritone, the devil's chord.
Why do I know this? Is it licensed?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, well, I'll guess low G, man,
No.
because I keep guessing it. It's got a little, I don't know.
It's got like a little Batman almost.
It's not Batman.
It's got, the bass line is throwing me off, but it's got a little Capcom stank on
The
it.
Yellow Wolf
You know
got
what
it.
You know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
It reminds me of DuckTales.
Yeah, I said it's got Capcom stank on it. I agree.
It's
Is
not.
it Capcom?
I don't know, but it's not DuckTales.
Can you ask in the chat if it's Capcom?
Guys, in the chat.
That main melody is Capcom
Is it Capcom?
stank all over it.
Yellow Wolf is typing.
Is it Data East? Trade West?
Other directions, please.
Device.
All right, I'm sticking with Capcom. It's a Capcom game. It's not licensed. That narrows it down.
If this isn't Capcom,
Yellow
I'll
Wolf
be
says
very
no, I don't think
surprised.
so. Let me.
Yeah, please look it up. Trying to think of non-licensed NES Capcom games.
It is Capcom.
All right, then it's Legendary Wings.
It is.
It's ridiculous.
Great job.
Grimbles picked up on it too. It's got that Capcom feel. He said DuckTales. That's Capcom.
All right. Well, that was from Glitter Bubble 3, and it was Legendary Wings. This one comes from Highly Unlikely, who is presently married to my girlfriend, Afternoons.
Have a system.
Switch, I think.
Oh dear. Octopath.
No.
Xenoblade.
No.
Fire Emblem.
Nope.
It's not first party.
No.
I guess Fire Emblem, and I shouldn't have. Is it an RPG?
I don't know. I don't think so, but
I like it.
I played it.
Oh dear. It's high quality. Is it Ori?
It's not.
Is it Bloodstained?
No, and it's not an RPG.
Darksiders?
No.
Oh, that's not a bad guess. Is it Rayman related?
It's not a Rayman game.
Damn it. I don't know. Go ahead.
It is Hollow Knight.
Damn it. I did play it.
Damn it, you did. So that was from Highly Unlikely.
Dude, where were you on that?
I must not have gotten far enough in the game.
Man. Nikki Hill probably would have got it.
Yes,
Son of a
I was
bitch.
thinking that. Highly Unlikely sent that to us, and it was Hollow Knight. This next song comes from Mikey3319.
All right, this has to be a Konami game.
I don't know.
Oh, it's got that drum. It's either Konami or Sunsoft. Feels like it feels licensed.
It is. It is Konami.
Okay. It feels like a beat 'em up. But
It's a platform.
it's a platformer?
It's the genre.
Is it like Spot, the 7-Up Spot game?
It is not.
It has a Turtles vibe, but I know it's not Turtles.
Giant Reggie just said the same thing. Sounds like Turtles, but I know it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah, I know the Turtles music. How about, all right, Konami, we can do this. Bucky O'Hare.
No.
Monsters in My Pocket.
Yes. Yes. It was Monster in My Pocket.
Finally. Who sent that in?
Finally.
It came from Mikey3319.
Thank you, Mikey. I've been asking for Monsters in My Pocket.
Have you?
Finally.
This one comes from Prat Trap. It's playing.
I'm going to go with Ori again.
It is.
Ori and the Blind Forest?
Yes.
There's
Yes.
a game that...
I just said yes.
Play that game.
Play that game. Do is right. That's a game that'll... man, that's an emotional game without a doubt. And it does it... It tells a great story without a lot of dialogue. Is there... Or text? How much text is in that game? There's really none, is there?
Not much, which is why I was surprised that you shed a tear during it. I did not get emotional during that game, but I did have a heck of a lot of fun
I
playing.
cried my eyes out. And then at the start of the second game, I cried a lot. Man, the second game is even better if you haven't played that one. Two great games, both on the Switch. Get them. A gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous games. It's really, really nice looking. Phenomenal soundtracks, great gameplay. They're Metroidvanias, if you don't know that. They're great. That's an example of the high watermark for, or they are examples of high watermarks for Metroidvania games, without a doubt. Good stuff. Thanks to Microsoft.
All right, here comes one from, well, that was from Prat Trap, and it was Ori and the Blind Forest. The next song is from Regnilla.
Okay, Animal Crossing?
Yeah.
But I don't know which one. Let's go with, we'll go with the newest one.
Nope.
Okay, we'll go with Animal Crossing in general. Just Animal Crossing GameCube.
Not GameCube.
Okay, Wild World.
No.
City Folk.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
So nice. I love it.
How's Roll doing?
I'm digging this tune, though, yeah.
There's a really cool website that plays Animal Crossing music, and it will play the appropriate music for the time of day, because there's a different song on Animal Crossing for each hour of the day.
This is 3 a.m. snow.
And all the songs in Animal Crossing are great. They're very mellow. Just great background stuff.
All right, so that was from Reg Nilla, and it was Animal Crossing City Folk. Our next jam comes from another of my favorite ladies, Rosemary the Farmer.
This instantly feels familiar. I'm feeling less confident now. What system?
Switch.
Dear. Summer
Dear.
Summer and Maya.
No.
The Tourist.
No.
Not a bad guess. Is it? I don't think it's first party.
No.
I don't know. Go ahead.
Overcooked 2.
Oh, I don't. I know Overcooked, but I don't play it. It stresses me out too much.
All right, that was from Rosemary the Farmer, who stumped you with Overcooked 2.
Oh, thank you.
And the last song for today comes from Zebrefus. Here you go.
Okay, it's Super Nintendo.
It sure is.
It sounds RPG-ish.
I believe it is.
Final Fantasy.
Yes.
Okay. Are we okay? Are we guess? I guess we're guessing North American numbers. So 6.
There's not a number.
3.
Oh, there's no numbers. Just Final Fantasy.
2.
Final Fantasy something.
Oh, what was the name? What was the name of the weird one on Super Nintendo? Was it
Tactics?
No, it's not Legend.
No.
What did they call it on Super Nintendo? That's right. It's not Saga.
No.
Oh,
Mystic Quest.
Yes.
You got it.
Yes. I
All right.
forgot they had that weird one.
So you didn't get Bratz Ponies.
We did not.
Did you get Legendary Wings? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
You didn't get Hollow Knight,
No.
right?
Where's Cumulative? We need them this week for the
And you
score
didn't get
tally.
Overcooked.
We did not.
But I think those are the only 2 you didn't get.
That was more than 2, but okay.
Bratz Ponies,
So 10 out of 10.
Hollow Knight,
It's 6 out of 9, as they say.
and Overcooked. So 3.
Yes.
Yeah, but so you got 6 out of 9. Great job.
6. Thank you, Giant Rich.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We had a supersized show. I apologize to the people on the actual show. Do Vitamin G, Grimbles, Mom Brain, myself, Josh, because it was a much longer than usual show. So I apologize for eating up your time. Listeners, hopefully. Thank you, Josh. Hopefully those of you who are listening appreciate the longer show, but next week we'll try to curtail it a bit.
I would like to apologize to everyone as well. Just because.
Just in general.
Just in case.
Sure.
But if you stuck with us for the whole thing, thank you. This is the perfect episode to start with the highlights channel. It worked out perfectly. But if you did stick with us, thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure having Grimbles for your first pod.
A round of applause for Grimbles, everybody.
Yeah.
And
Thank you so much.
Hopefully he'll be back, but we will definitely be back next week for a 7-hour show. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
I looked at you like you were going to end the show. We are still live. I'm just letting Grimbles know we are still live. We do a little bit of an after show. That's like, I don't think we should do an after show today. It's been too long. It's too long. We're going to say our real goodbyes to everybody on the after show, and then that's that.
Yeah, Rami, you never answered my question. How long was the show going?
Mom Brain, can you see that?
It's
Can you see that
6:14
number?
at the moment.
3 hours like on the dot.
Almost. Yeah. 2:55.
Oh, he almost did it.
The last couple of weeks, it's been like 2 hours, 40 minutes.
Yeah,
What's the deal?
yeah. To tell you, well, I really think it has to do with the. Well, this week there was a ton of news in general, but it's definitely tied to how well Nintendo's doing because there's a lot more to talk about. But also, I think it's tied to how we're doing the shows, having people virtually and having more people in to talk about things, which I like. But it's different than having everybody in person because when you're virtual, people are waiting turns to talk, and you have a more natural flowing organic conversation when you're in person with people. So I think it just draws it out because of that. But I can't tell you how many emails I've gotten from people who are like, please keep having people come in virtually, even when you can have people in person, because they appreciate hearing everybody. So, I mean, if you still want to, we'd love to have you.
Well, it doesn't look like we're going to be like, seeing each other anytime very soon. So,
what are you talking about? You'd love to have me.
After the people are on the show virtually because of the pandemic, but they will be on in person when we're past this stuff. But I just want you to know this isn't a pandemic only thing for you. If you would like to be here regularly on the phone, we'd love to have you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I have a lot of fun doing this. This is like the only thing I look forward to all week. I was actually a little upset that I didn't get a rumor in this week.
Oh my God! I'm sorry. Well, that gives you an extra week to come up with an even better rumor. I'm so sorry. That's my fault.
No, this one's pretty good. I wanted to say this one, so maybe week you can bring up again the Sephiroth Smash thing.
How about we just start next week's show with the rumor?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
One way or another, next week's show will have the rumor. Wolfric Chaser says Grimble kind of sounds like Deux. Makes me think he's a twin brother. Maybe that's some podcast lore for you.
Man, that's funny. Grimble Michaels. Because I think he sounds like Nicky Hill. At least in like his mannerisms and his humor style.
I would agree with Nicky Hill. Yes. Giant Reggie says, "Is it Grimble or Grimballs? It's Grimbles, but now it's definitely Grimballs."
It's Grimshot.
Grimshot. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Thanks for hanging with us for the live show. If hang out with friends and family virtually, safely, whatever you're doing, play some games, rest, relax, take a break. You deserve it. We will see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
All right, I'll see you guys in a few hours.
Yes.